terrifying. This is like Chinese all-stars almost in terms of talent.
It definitely is. It's just 10 fantastically strong players. Despite their struggles, Waterloo, they've kept the same lineup. They still see potential moving into Season 4. This is a love letter to the end of Season 3, Pastry Time. Season 3 is going out with a bang, and what a match here we've got set up.
This is going to be so awesome here. We're going to be starting off soon. Remember, a best of 3 here between these two Chinese teams. And remember, it's going to be China versus Korea in the final. What a final to have here at such a big international tournament as well. I mean, Blaze going to be watching closely here. Fearsome opposition. They look very good in this tournament as well, but either of these teams will be a worthy finals.
And for as much as people say that OMG have solved the World Elite playstyle, that OMG have grown as a reaction to World Elite and their dominance in Season 2, this is still a once-off best of 3. World Elite could still win here, change the tail for Season 3, at least end it on a high, because it hasn't been their season, but that means it couldn't be their World Cyber Games.
Yeah, World Elite, a team that just been around for so long here. It feels, and the roster has not changed barely at all ever since they've been together, and they've been around since the beginning of League in China, what, almost 3 years ago now? World Elite just feel like a team that no matter what happens, no matter how bad things look, and they've looked really bad against OMG, they're a team that just plays with such heart and such tenacity.
It's one of those situations where at the start of the year, I'd say probably 70% to 80% of Chinese fans were World Elite fans. That number has dwindled a little bit since then, but still stays way over 50%. They are the monster team, the monster support in China. But teams have come onto this OMG hype train. We see the OMG fans here. How could you not? A team that was relatively unknown, now so massive, and we're into Champions League.
Here we are, game 1 here between OMG. They're going to be on the left side here for this drop. World Elite on the right to kick things off. Jax and Shen, the first 2 bands there for OMG, respecting the Scion.
And the Scion ban is very interesting to me, as OMG intentionally left that up in the LPL Summer semi-finals there. They picked the Fiddlesticks jungle to counter it. Whenever Scion showed up to the side lane, Fiddlesticks was there to fear him, and that kind of took away the power of the Scion pick. But OMG, they only leave champions up if they have a plan. Clearly they thought, hey, let's just not deal with the Scion here today. It adds an extra thorn. It's something we're not as practiced against. Ban it out, and the Renekton ban is the final ban. Such a
strong ban there as well. I mean, Shyvana banned up by World Elite instead here. Going to mean that Salmei's champion pool going to be a little dwindled. He's just such a fantastic Shyvana and Renekton. Cassidy and Hero ban has all been pretty popular, and Lee Sin's a fantastic ban against Loveland.
Now, we're looking for the first pick here, Jessica, or Sika, better known from Positive Energy here. Mulling over the Orianna first pick, Gragas is available here as a potential skill matchup against Orianna. Elise is probably the safer pick here. She's the champion with the most jungle pressure. It might force a Fiddlesticks from Clear Love, which of course is a strong ganking jungler against more of a utility late game support champion like Fiddlesticks. So we'll see how we go. And the Elise is locked in.
Yeah, I really like Elise. Elise and Elise have just been such contended picks here all throughout WCG on 3.13. And I mean, when Lee Sin's banned, I think taking Elise, especially when you're first pick, just feels so important. Now, unfortunately, a little blocked up towards the top, but Lucian's going to get locked in.
That's the Orianna as well, Page Tom. I can see just the neck
of
that robot lady there. I mean, Orianna's so powerful, it's probably going to be the Gragas or maybe the Ari or Zed coming out of cool here. I mean, the assassin meta, it's been nerfed, but he still loves to pick up those assassins. He's so proficient on them, is cool. And the Fiddlesticks might be taken away here in a support role. That starts to get towards the Clear Love champion pool here. We might see something new, or maybe we'll see maybe the Jarvan for a bit of ganking pressure come out.
Yeah, really versatile first 2 picks here for OMG and Elise and Fiddle. And I really like this Ezreal pick. It's not just a great pick in general, it's such a safe Eddie, especially against Lucian. But
it's also one of Wei Xiao's favorite champions. Both Wei Xiao and Name have played a lot of Ezreal this patch, and this is an interesting thing to me just because this is actually the exact way that World Elite drafted in the quarterfinals. They took Elise with that first pick, then they took Lee Sin just so they would have both the jungle pressure, and they sent Elise into the support role. Here we've got Elise and Fiddlesticks, probably a more prototypical jungle and support, but it's still 2 contested jungle picks taken away from World Elite.
Yeah, so clearly you're going to have to see what he can come up with. Looks like Thresh being considered Alpha Fizz. We've said it, that in general, a lot of bot laners in this tournament, not just the Chinese, but the Korean especially, even the Australians actually, a lot of really aggressive 2v2 lanes, and we're seeing a lot more support players be proactive. Annie, another really great example there, and Leona as well would be insane if they pick it up here. Rumble, also interesting champion for Salmei, but he's played a ton of Rumble as well.
The return of Rumble here is very interesting. Salmei hasn't played a lot of that champion. It has, of course, been Sin, the Chinese team, especially Godlike from Royal at the World Finals, playing a lot of Rumble there. The way I always describe Rumble is that he loses lane well, which sounds like a negative thing. You might say, oh, he loses lane, no one wants to lose lane. But what I mean by that is in a 1v2 situation, he can farm, he has some wave clear if the minions are stacked up. He can pick up double magic penetration items, and he's pretty useful in a team fight with the equalizer. In lane, he's a very good lane to gank for, just because when he overheats, he does very respectable damage, has some CC as well, and then he can pick up the Leandries earlier and wreck a team fight. So always a strong choice as Rumble here. Kennen and Gragas are the answers here. The Gragas versus Orianna matchup, so entrenched in League of Legends competitive play for a few patches now. It's a skill matchup, so it's going to be super exciting to watch in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think slightly favoured there for Gragas, but certainly a skill matchup, as you pointed out. Vi would be an interesting last pick here for the jungle.
What's left, though, Pastry Time? I mean, Jarvan 4 is available, but this is patch 3.13. Jarvan 4's EQ, the flag and drag combo, has seen a pretty significant nerf. It's very difficult to hit, especially with other variables like body slam and flash being available here. Evelyn, though, would be a super spicy pick here. But no, he sticks with the Vi here, and I have to give it to OMG in terms of jungle pressure. Whenever Loveland has the jungle pressure advantage over you, you're already scared. But this is a pretty significant jungle pressure here. I mean, you can get going as Vi before 6, especially if you can rush those mobility boots and always be in position for the Vault Breaker, but you have to give the advantage to Loveland.
I mean, OMG have just drafted beautifully here. It seems like the way the draft has played out here, they've really just denied Clearlove any option of playing an aggressive jungler. I mean, Vi, very much a level 6 type of jungler. You often want to have winning or safe lanes when you pick her, and I think WorldLead have done that here, but OMG have really kind of given themselves the best opportunity to be aggressive.
Look at this crowd pace time as we load into the game.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the first game here of the semi-finals for League of Legends here. WCG 2013 between OMG and Team WorldLead, live from Kunshan City, China, is about to begin. My name is Pastry Time. I'm going to be joined here by Papa Smithy and Papa. It's just such an insane matchup here. China versus China in China. OMG take on WorldLead.
It's just such a massive match, Pastry Time. And one of these Chinese fan favorites will fall, but it does guarantee a Chinese team in the final. So we see some of the summoner spells here. Cleanse is picked up on Wei Zhao here. That means in a 2v2 situation, he doesn't have that combat summoner-like barrier, which it means in a 2v2 situation, you'll often have to lose out there. But he's against a Fiddlesticks. The potential for that 3-second CC will come out. So just for safety reasons, Cleanse is probably the optimal pickup.
Yeah, you kind of just get priced in to Cleanse in a way, and Wei Zhao's very comfortable there. I mean, Lucian's a champion that he seems to have played with aplomb actually throughout this whole tournament, and it's not really his own style. Like, he tends to play hypercarry champions. He's a big airstream player, as you mentioned as well. But I mean, everyone at this tournament's playing Lucian because of how strong he is, and Wei Zhao's look confident here.
Well, one thing you can say about Lucian is the advantage he has in terms of build path. If you watch Samsung Blue Deft, as we see, it's just a bit of taunting coming on the mid lane. The fans love this between Cool and Clearlove here. Listen to that crowd, so loud here. But I mean, one of the advantages of Lucian is if you go down that Trinity Force build path, which has seen the most success in Korea, Trinity Force, Vamp Scepter, A Last Whisper, a fairly low ceiling to that gold cost for those items. You can actually confidently pick up the Merc Treads and use that little skirmish and abuse that Trinity Force proc, and you don't have to go for the Berserker Greaves to maximize your damage there. The advantage is he's against the Elise Cocoon, the Kennen Ultimate here, and of course the Fiddlesticks Fear. Between Cleanse and those Merc Treads, that might be enough to deal with the strong CC coming out of OMG.
Yeah, you can see just level 1's being set up now as well. Both teams looking to try and ward as best they can. They've got lots of wards along the river to both teams. They're just kind of covering all the major entrances, but no one's been able to get in for a really deep ward. And we often see teams like to invade aggressively with Annie, but WorldLead are being a little careful here, just spreading out. I mean, game 1 especially here of this semi-final, really don't want to overextend.
Yeah, so no deep wards coming out here. We see river wards on both sides from either team, so kind of mirror wards coming out there we can see on the mini-map, but no other deep wards coming out. But we see a late invade coming in here.
Yeah, really nice little late invade here, although Loveland is actually starting on the red side here. Don't think WorldLead will look to take this buff here. In fact, Going's even rotating towards the blue just to kind of catch him out. We'll now realize it's a 2v1, so we are going to have that 2v1 up towards the top there for WorldLead, leaving Rumble down the bottom in his 1v2.
Lucy and Annie there, they just wanted to go and harass Loveland if he chose to start at blue, but because of the red start there, I mean, there's just a bit of time to do that. Didn't lose any resources for it. Nice little adaptation for WorldLead, but no advantage.
Yeah, I like this double jungling too from WorldLead. We've actually got Salme following Clearlove through his initial jungle path here, just for a little bit of extra golden experience.
I mean, at level 2, Usually that's when we see the Flame Splitter or at least the Electro Harpoon come out there. Having those two abilities allows you to wave clear, especially being level 2 when minions hit the turret, you know, when there's like 2 or 3 minion waves powered up, gives them so much more AoE wave clear and potential just to pick up a few more last hits early.
Yeah, and really in a 2v1 situation, you can kind of afford to just wander down there late because you're going to get there on time before the wave's really able to push in. You can see up the top, Weizhou and Fizz just pushing in towards, trying to harass Go going as best he can. And we'll see. I don't think we're going to see too much early pushing here, but most importantly in these situations in the 1v2, you don't want to die.
I mean, the man to track here is love them from OMG, that jungler, just because he has the jungle present advantage here, just because he has the strong ganking jungler here. He's the one that's going to try and make things happen, and here he comes in.
Yeah, Loveland onto Messiah now, level 3 for the Orianna, trying to dodge a Cocoon, doesn't quite get there. Cool going to move in as well, as Venom's Bite does come down. Ignite popped in there, Messiah will be okay for now, but that's a lot of damage he just took, and we do have a pause.
Yeah, the tournament pause comes in here. A very big burst of damage. That might actually shape the lane in mid lane. We've talked about how that's a skill matchup, how Gragas towards level 6, he gets access to that explosive cast, he gets access to a lot of tools to try and kill Orianna. Now Orianna's going to have to use both her health potions, all her regeneration to get to full health, and that opens up just a window here for Gragas to be super aggressive, maybe even as early as level 4.
Yeah, thankfully Messiah, he actually kept both his summoners up there as well. Didn't need to use his flash save in that gang, but a nice little bit of pressure from Loveland nonetheless. I mean, Messiah kind of made a choice there. You either use your flash and stay healthy, or you kind of accept a lot of the damage there. Maybe get dove and die, but probably not at level 2. And yeah, as you said, forced to use his regen now. And
again, that's the Elise pick right here. I mean, Elise just has so much early pressure, that Cocoon into the maximum health and execution damage, compared to Vi, who has the Vault Breaker, but it's a bit situational and needs charge up time. And the Assault and Battery is when she really gets going as a ganking jungler. We look at over here, still level 3, so level 6 seeming like a long time away, at least to Messiah here, who will need some pressure relieved just because of all the damage he's taken that early trade.
I actually really like the decision by World Elite to choose to 2v1 when they have a Vi, because as I said, and as you've told me many, many times, Papa, you need to make sure Vi gets to 6 without your lanes falling too far behind. And they've got a fairly safe 1v2 in Rumble, and they're pretty comfortable in the 2v1 as well. As long as Messiah doesn't die, or Cell may get dived, they're okay.
And completing your idea there, at least what that does, setting up a 2v1, is that it puts in Loveland's head that he might have to go and relieve pressure in that 2v1 lane. And if he's relieving pressure, he's not doing that ganking. He's letting his jungler get to 6 more often. And Xiao Mei picking up that early experience is kind of the thing where it's like, you get that early experience, let me jungle for a while, I'll relieve pressure later, but we need 6 as soon as possible.
Yeah, and then of course when that happens, matchups can just turn on their head. Such a strong ultimate assault and battery. I mean, even Gragas is with the buffed body slam still here on this patch and a lot of mobility. He's going to die quickly to a wombo combo.
The OMG fan club in full voice here. They were actually over at the players stage yesterday in one of the LoL Plus stream matches. Not been a big crowd there, but about 1,000 people gathering there with the Thunder 6 so loud. I had to shout to speak to my co-caster here. They're actually being very reserved today, but let's wait till the action starts.
I was going to say, just wait for first blood. I think we're going to hear some pretty hyped up crowd there. It looks like for whatever reason the players do have an issue. Sort of sick of pointing at his monitor before in their booth. Maybe he has an issue there with his computer, but you can see players just kind of patient to get back into the action here, and so are we. A very, very tense to start here between, again, two fantastic teams.
Yeah, and just tracking back to some of the recent matchups between these two teams, one of the recurring themes is that World Elite can actually get ahead in the early game, and then it's always the Dragon that kind of falls them off. World Elite's Dragon control in Season 3 has been very hit or miss. It was something where in Season 2, we knew they would always be in position for Dragons. They would always freshly shop and get down to Dragons, and they were very smart about controlling objectives. But ever since OMG really entered the scenes and teams started to really prioritize those objectives, World Elite have kind of struggled. They've been hit and miss on whether they should contest for Dragon or whether they should leave it up here. And it's always around those objectives that World Elite gives the enemy teams a bit of a sniff, a bit of a chance. And if OMG is decisive, that's always a spot to come back in the game. But of course, we're so early here, we don't know how this game will develop, but for now, it's fairly even.
I think that observation's really poignant here as well, in particular in this game, because World Elite, the way World Elite have chosen to draft here, they have a really, really strong comp at level 6 to contest Dragon with. I mean, Rumble is the classic Dragon contest champion.
Absolutely. When Rumble has access to that equalizer there, whenever you're grouped up to take an objective like Dragon, you're at peril of taking 200 to 300 to 400 damage from a level 1 Rumble ultimate, even if he doesn't have the Soak Shoes and Haunting guys completed there. So it's always those choke points where Rumble shines. And so they've picked for it, but can they actually move that into picking up a Dragon? In Korea, there was a long time where if you picked up Rumble, you were basically telling the enemy team, don't even bother to contest Dragon. Whether that comes to fruition here, we'll have to see.
Will indeed. Here as we are, still waiting for the game to get going. You can see just how many signs are around the crowd. So many fans for both teams here. Seem to be more OMG Thunder sticks than World Elite ones, but that maybe just could be a supply thing. Like, you can see the OMG fans, big crowd of them in the middle. I mean, they're all sitting down. It was really hard to get a seat here.
It's a D-stage match here, Pace Jam. Of course, we're not playing on the main stage as we see GMO come out here. OMG backwards, that's okay. We understand what they're trying to put forward there. Everyone's just so powerful. I mean, Going probably got the biggest cheer. He actually has a light-up sign too. So the fans are just excited to see their two hometown matches. Their two hometown teams. Unfortunately, they can't meet in the final, but still a wonderful final as CJ enters plays, watches on very expectantly.
Yeah, I mean, feels like a final from so many different events this season as well. These teams have clashed so many times here. 2 LPL seasons and a whole host of other tournaments in China as well.
I would guess in competitive play, they've probably played each other 20 times this year.
And that's a lot of pro-level matches to play the same team in over and over again.
4-1 each split, then we've got finals, then we've got all those other little tournaments and IEMs that come up. This matchup happens so often. And it's been OMG that for the great majority of those, probably 70 to 80% of those, they've been the victors. So World Elite, they've had a lot of time to think about this matchup. They've had a lot of experience to work on their drafting here. They've drafted very strong, but so have OMG. And that big question mark is Loveland on Elise versus Clear Love on Vi. On paper, that's significantly in the advantage of at least until level 6.
Yeah, I think that's actually... I mean, I mentioned it before that Loveland to me feels like the anchor of OMG in many different ways. That jungle matchup feels very contrasting here in this particular matchup, and I think, as you said, it's going to be really important to see who hits 6 first, or if at least can do enough damage before Clear Love is able to actually get 6 and maybe cause some havoc as well. So lots and lots riding on the early stage of this game, as almost always, and as you mentioned, very crucial around the 10-12 minute mark. We're going to have to watch for that first dragon.
I think Clear Love versus Loveland is probably the key matchup for me here, just because Clear Love was on fire earlier in this tournament here. Even though he died in a level 1 situation in the series in the quarterfinals, he came back to have the most jungle pressure. He lost a buff. It was a 1 buff to 3 buff start, and he still ran the game as Lee Sin, and that's just the power of him as a jungler. He has shown snippets of that amazing power from the jungle, but he struggled for large parts of Season 3. And whenever these two teams match up, Loveland seems to always have his number. Whatever the matchup, he always seems to be slightly more ahead. His team is slightly better to react. And Clear Love always looks weaker as a comparison right there. It's on Clear Love here to take this game by the coattails, to really wrestle back control from the jungle and open up a World Elite victory.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. You're still waiting here to get into this game, but oh man, that first blood, I think we're going to hear an absolutely massive roar from this crowd. They've been waiting for a long time, as Papa said. We kind of came in about an hour before this match here to start getting prepared, and it was already full. You could not get a seat.
Yeah, our commentary box requires us to walk past the stage, and that was not a trivial thing to do at all, Pastry Time. We were just trying to wrestle past a few fans here. Everyone's just so excited. No one wants to go to the bathroom. So if you're here at Kunshan City, go to the bathroom today, because there's plenty of time. No one wants to lose their seat or their standing room here, because otherwise you will not be able to see the screen.
Just looking at the screens, they may have to have a remake, unfortunately. Looks like they're making another custom game here, so whatever reason, may have had a false start. The bans and picks, of course, will remain the same here in this game, but thankfully not too much level 1 action happened there. So.
And that's the question. Will we see a more crazy level 1 here? You never know if teams will do the same thing or whether they'll throw the playbook out and try something different at level 1. There was little to no aggression, no deep wards whatsoever in our first level 1. And if what you say is true, we could be in for a wholly different game.
Yeah, I mean, the 2v1 is now, I guess, a known thing for OMG in this game as well. So could see a couple of mind games there before the 2-minute mark, with teams really trying to jostle for position, because it felt to me that World Elite were really the ones that initiated that lane swap.
And that's the question. Do you send your duo lane to the same lane? Do you mix it up? Do you send them mid? It's hard to say here. There's so many questions to be asked and so many answers waiting to be seen. Yeah,
I mean, just looking at the other lanes a little bit as well, I would kind of wait here. Between Name and Sika, I mean, Name and Wei Zhao. Wei Zhao for so long, such a good player, but Name, the MVP of LPL for the summer series. And
it's weird to think of China and not have Wei Zhao as the top or second AD carry, but to some degree, Name, and whether you consider Uzi still an AD carry, but on recent form, let's include Uzi there, they have much more fanfare in China as strong AD carries. Wei Zhao is still reliable, especially on that Ezreal, but he's kind of stepped away from the limelight here, stepped away from being that #1 AD carry in China.
And I guess looking at the mid lane matchup a little as well. I mean, cool, you mentioned just so aggressive here, playing such a fantastic assassin champion like Gragas. I mean, you don't always think of Gragas as an assassin, but really that is one of the modes that he can actually operate on.
I mean, whenever Gragas gets going, As I hear a huge roar from the crowd here. Whenever Gragas gets going, he's an assassin-based champ, just because with those AP ratios, if you can rush that Athenes, then get a death cap before your enemy team has any match resist itemization, you're assassinating teams, let alone individual members here. We'll see if he can get his roam on. He has that jungle pressure, which suggests to me that with all that pressure, Messiah might have to be AoE wave clearing at his turret. If Gragas can get his roam on, especially around level 6, those side lane ganks can be a sight to behold.
Yeah, it's such an interesting history between these two teams as well. There was a point where World Elite really just felt like the best late game team in China, possibly in the world. And OMG, one of the criticisms, one of the few and only criticisms, in fact, of them when they first started coming out was they were just too aggressive and they could never seem to play a longer game. So if they ever didn't get ahead or got too far behind in the early game, then OMG could struggle. And you mentioned already that World Elite have actually gotten the better of OMG in the early stages of games before. They're capable of actually taking the aggressive team and being more aggressive than them.
I mean, in my opinion, though, Pastry Time, OMG kind of took the standard LoL dictionary and threw it out the window when it comes to the definitions of early and late game here. In Season 2, late game was 40 to 45 minutes. Laning phases commonly went on for about 15 to 20 minutes. And that was when World Elite, they were the masters of the laning phase. They always looked in control. They kept turrets up as long as they wanted to. And whenever there was actually a grouped fight, you knew that Weizhou would have 380 carry items. You knew that one of their members would be silly fed and they would win those team fights. But OMG, the early turret pushing meta, it throws the idea of late game out the window. Now 2 items is considered late game. Now 25 minutes can be very much late game in a Chinese game. With all this early snowballing, World Elite just don't get to that late game, and that's why they've been trying to modify their style week on to week, month on to month, with varying success.
Yeah, but for me, it really feels like if OMG do fall behind, they're no longer a team that just kind of folds in the mid-game if they don't have a lead. They've really shown throughout, especially the LPL summer, that they've grown so much as a team. They're able to play at different speeds and evolve their gameplay to be like, you know what, even if we're behind, we're actually comfortable with our late game as well.
And when you have a small sample size, especially as a Western viewer trying to watch these Chinese games, it's easy to say, well, they've got one thing to them. Every game I see them, they go for the picks, they group up early, they use their AoE ultimates. That seems to work for them. They don't have many other ideas. But when you play competitive play for this long, and that's LPL play, but that's also scrimming the top teams and getting into other tournaments, you pick up these extra strings to your bow. You see what World Elite did well. You know that you have something that can deal with World Elite, but you can also take on elements of their style to become better teams yourself. And you're correct. We've seen games in the LPL where OMG were able to move into the late game and play patiently themselves and get over any mid-game hump issues they had previously.
For me, though, I think the biggest thing here for World Elite that's always been the trademark of their play, they are so precise and so calculated. If they were in control of a game, it feels impossible to beat them.
And that's what we've seen so far in this tournament, Patient Time, against weaker opposition than OMG, admittedly. But I mean, against the Yowie Flash Wolves, a team that had 4 of the 5 members of the Gamma Bears who went to World Finals, and of course World Elite famously did not attend World Finals this year, they looked super, super strong. They looked on point. Their timings were perfect. It was the World Elite of old. It was the World Elite that's a joy to watch. And whether we'll see that here in an OMG match is the question mark, just because however World Elite has looked in quarterfinals, in previous rounds, whenever they face OMG, it feels like things kind of go out the window.
All right, so we are going to go to a little quick break here, guys. So we'll be back here when the game is going underway. Unfortunately, have had to fill a little bit of time. Maybe that's okay. And looks like hopefully the game will get started early. So we'll sign up quickly for now, but don't go anywhere. Game 1 between World Elite and OMG is just coming up. Alright guys, welcome back. Not too sure what's been going on, but apparently we've been playing for a little while. So for whatever reason, couldn't get into the game. But my name is still Pastry Time. I'm still joined here by Papa Smithy and Papa. We're 19 minutes into this one. 6-3 OMG, 3-2 there in turrets for them, and a nice little steal there from Loveland.
Obviously has some significant issues here, Pastry Time, but looking down we see that Going's already got it going here. 3-1 on that.
Oh, nice ult there. Loveland and Jessica going to get ticked off. Feels if they're looking for the tibbers, or the initiation there is going now. Been a little bit of trouble, going to get himself stunned up, damage moving in. Ignite comes in, and there's the kill. Oh, now a dunk in there as well. Actually, Loveland now forced to flash out of the way, repels after his wraiths as well. Nice pressure there from Waterlead.
So let's try and take stock of what's happened here. We look down the Waterlead side. Rumble's 0-3, has been bullied around in lane, does have the double magic penetration to still be able to affect those dragon fights. Turrets are 3-2 to the advantage of OMG here, as we see the champions being reorganized right here. But, I mean, one thing for Waterlead here, we see that Wei Zhao's had a very good start.
Yeah, Messiah a little low here around this dragon. Gonna have to be a little careful here as OMG just poking back and forth. They really want this dragon here. Not sure if the first one happened. Wei Zhao actually insta-cleanses that cocoon. Now Loveland looking to go in. Jessica over the top. They're actually crow-stomps in. Repel out now for Elise. Good hold there from Gragas actually. Going to pick up a little bit of damage. Salmei now in trouble. They're forced to get himself out. And that is going to be the kill onto Clearlove.
So one kill taken down there. But crucially, they have had to back away from the dragon here. Now,
yeah, Fizzif does have his stun up ready to go, and his ultimate is though. Fizzif going to go in. Tibbers coming through. Equalizer down in there as well. Salmei forced to back up, but that's kill onto Annie as Wei Zhao's going to flash forward. Tries to get the kill onto Name, but can't quite get it. Loveland low in there as well. He's got to be careful. Fear though moving in. No cleanse left. That's going to be a kill for Ezreal.
And that's 4 kills down for OMG right there. Even though they're all on flashing health bars here, it looks like they'll still attempt the dragon.
Yeah, it looks like dragon should be pretty comfortable here for OMG. Not too many Waterlead players left. No equalizer left here for Rumble either. And only Clearlove potentially available to smite it. But he went back to base to heal. And they are going to get this one pretty comfortably. Not too sure who got the first one or if it was done, but I imagine there would have been a nice fight there.
Given the gold lead here, Pastry Time, we see 2 kills in the edge, 5 kills, 2 turrets. And 7k or so, 8k almost now is the gold here for OMG. So they've definitely got the snowball going. Yeah,
it looks like probably both dragons are going to OMG here early on in this game. Again, guys, apologies for missing the first 20 minutes or so of this game. Not too sure what happened, but looks like the players were playing for whatever reason. Just couldn't get it on stream, but we are back now. Hopefully everything is normalized and all hunky-dory. And look at Ezreal there. Blade of the Ruined King now finished up for Nama. He's looking really strong here, but looks like Last Whisper on the way after Trinity Force for Wei Zhao. Yeah,
looking at the CS values between Wei Zhao and Nama here are very close, actually. The Blade of the Ruined King versus, at this point, the components of the Last Whisper. When he finishes that Last Whisper, he'll be actually at a very strong point in the game, will Wei Zhao, but the Blade of the Ruined King and the cooldown reduction boots, significant power jump for Name.
Yeah, looks like Gragas going to back shop. He does pick up Rabadon's death cap now as well. Was equal in items there with Messiah, but of course all that global gold really giving him a big edge now.
It's interesting to see the marriage of the Ionian Boots of Lucidity on Name with the Blade of the Ruined King here. So I guess he's picked up that item just there to have the Arcane Shift cooldown lowered a little bit there. He's got the Blade of the Ruined King to be able to move away from, especially the auto attacks of Clearlove. Obviously very strong against melee carries is that Blade of the Ruined King. But we just see Waterlead clearing waves here. They're definitely on the back foot, something they're very used to against OMG. It's pretty cool. He's got double buffs now.
Yeah, so one of the things that we didn't quite touch on leading into this game was actually talk about the comps themselves in kind of 5v5 situations. And Waterlead actually seemed to have a really, really strong 5v5.
I mean, the 5v5 wombo is very apparent here. You can see the Assault and Battery with the ball. Obviously, a great ball carrier is Vi here. So with this command shockwave, of course, Rumble ult layering on top of that, anti-flash tibbers, the culling, so much burst damage coming out there. Whereas OMG, they've kind of picked their comp for lane here. Gragas, a favorable lane matchup against Orianna. Kennen you'd always take against Rumble, but you don't really see the synergy in terms of team fights there. The Gragas ultimate and the Kennen ultimate almost function to different ends in a team fight right there. They have decent pick choices. In a 2v2 situation, a lot of their small skirmishing will be very strong. But in a team fight, it's not quite the same synergy that we see from Waterlead.
Yeah, it almost feels like one of the biggest issues is that if Waterlead fall behind here, and they clearly are in the early stages of this game, Gragas is just such a threat, even if your wombo is so good.
Well, the item discrepancies are right here, Pastry Time. As you mentioned, the death cap compared to a Nisa Large Rod, just the double magic penetration against a Zonya and an Abyssal Scepter completed from Kennen here. It's one of those things where even though they've picked a better teamfight comp. They will probably lose teamfights at this point.
Yeah, and World Elite kind of forced to just defend here at this point, trying to protect their tier 2 turret. The Baron could be a threat. Love, they're going to go in. One more that does hit 2 there. It's cool. Also gets in on the shockwave. Now Equalizer going to run down there. The Carling Bubble. Great stuff there from Fizz. Jessica could be in trouble as Name does pick up the kill. And Lucian actually going to off around the side as Ez picked up the double kill. Salmei in trouble as well. Sandwich between too many players. The triple coming out for Name in there as well. Now Clearlove looking to maybe be the 4th here as well. Potentially could be the Quadra here. Maybe follow up. No go going is going to deny that one here. So it could only be a potential delayed Quadra here for Name, but great fight for OMG.
And it's one of those things where we were reflecting the item advantage right there. That Equalizer was picture perfect from Xiaomei. In an even situation, they would have crushed a team fight there, but they're just too far ahead in terms of items already at this time.
In a lot of trouble. He's going to force to fight Name. He can't quite do it. They're going to do what he can, but the ace picked up there. Delayed Quadra does go there to Ezreal, and Cool's going to steal away the blue buff.
And the substitute AD carry here, the LPL. As we go into a replay right here. So we're watching here a beautiful shockwave there. The Grog's ultimate passing them back. But look at the picture-perfect Equalizer there. Fizz on top of it. It looked like it was going to be a perfect thing, but waiting for going. We can see him on the mini-map. Came around the back there. He already has the Zonias. He already has the Abyssal. Wrecks the team fight there. Xiaomei is lost between 2 people. Name at full health, crucially. Free hitting the whole fight. And that was all she wrote for World Elite.
And Name's positioning utterly fantastic there. Did not get touched by any of that TC. Got well and truly out of the way of the Tibber stun there for Fizzofin. Was able to free hit and just do so much damage with the item advantage he's got. He's 8-1-4.
And I commend World Elite for the pick there. It was ideal. They got the shockwave onto 2 important members of OMG. The Equalizer, like we said, was perfect, but it may be too little, too late.
Yeah, as you said, the item discrepancy really shows here in these fights. If you want a 5v5, you need to be even or better in terms of fighting here. I mean, or just at least wait until you can catch up on items here. Of course, the gold difference will shrink as the game goes later here. But OMG, aggressive as almost always here, looking to really pressure World Elite. Seeing Clearlove going to find himself under Lovely, and Oriana going to move through as well. But that's a lot of damage there on the Vi. The ult does pick it off there as Cool's going to collect that. Now Equalizer going to go down here, but going ready to run defense here. And World Elite once again just getting picked off.
Absolutely, and we saw the double Oracles has come out here. Both Loveland and Jessica here have the Oracles, are clearing walls. They're looking for Baron pressure here. They can always peel off Baron, and the Gragas ultimate with the Cannon ultimate can actually be very powerful in these in these smaller situations where the terrain will stop the Gragas ultimate from dispersing the team too far. Baron's already below half health. It doesn't look like World Elite are going to try and stop this, and it's going to be a free Baron. Yeah, for OMG.
Not a whole lot they can do there, unfortunately. Name doing so much damage already with those triple damage items. He is such a threat here, as you can see. I mean, Fizzofir's got to be careful. Maybe going to get himself picked up here. Name looking to chase. No, backs off a little. And a little too far away there.
And Wei Zhao has found himself very deep in enemy territory here. I guess running away from Gragas here. He is able to blue pill safely. So it will be a 5v5 engage, but the Baron buff is being rocked on OMG. They're looking so strong.
An awful lot of pressure here from OMG as well. With that Baron going to be able to siege very, very comfortably here. I guess one of the saving graces here for World Elite is that they haven't lost an inhibitor turret yet.
Absolutely. They still have all their inhibitor turrets up. They still are able to farm. But, of course, they have so little access to the neutrals and any sort of minion waves here, barring the ones that are pushing onto their inhibitor turrets here. OMG have monopolization on all the neutrals, all the creeps. They're picking up the dragon here as well. They're just going to continue to grow that gold lead. And at World Elite, they just don't have much room to farm. And this gold lead's just going to grow. Yeah, World Elite stuck in their base well and truly at this point. Basically forced to defend. And then OMG, their next move here, with the Baron buff especially, could be the killing blow here. But we'll see what they get up to. World Elite going to have to defend almost perfectly if they want to try and get out of this. Salmei here, just up the top, clearing out a couple of the minion waves in there as well. But, I mean, as you said, nowhere really to farm. Everyone's fighting for CS now. And World Elite, they'll take the Baron buff timing out before we see a strong push here, just because then they'll be just on slightly more even footing on a 5v5 fight. They've kept up those inhibitor turrets here. If they pull off the perfect wombo and delete one member of the OMG comp here, the fact that they have that teamfight synergy may lead to a teamfight lead, but it's a bit speculative when we're talking about a 15.1k gold lead already here for OMG. Yeah, the biggest problem is you just look down the items here for World Elite. They're missing so many key items. I mean, but Lucian here, you look here, does have the Trinity Force, does have the Last Whisper. He does have very good skirmishing, very good trading, but it's just, we look over at the namesake here, Trinity Force, Blade the Ruin King, Last Whisper, even a Hex Drinker thrown in for good measure here. The Locket of the Iron Stellaria also completed an Elise here. So much cost-effective magic resist coming out for Name here, even with all the damage that World Elite have. he's probably going to live on Ezreal.
Yeah, Orianna did complete the death cap though, so Messiah do a little more there as Jesky going to go over the top. Darkwind popping in there as Zogo going, moves forward there, cool delete Clearlove as he's going to go out there. Great ult there from Gragas, and now Nami going to take out that turret. Just such a strong push here for OMG, and World Elite may have to pack it in here for game 1.
And the power of Clearlove is actually so important to the World Elite comp because he's the only true frontliner that World Elite have. They only have one tanky melee member that's going to look to lock down here. Their chief ball carrier is dead, and they do not have really any answers to this OMG comp once Clearlove falls.
Oh, Fizzif takes a big Mystic shot there to the face. Does a lot of damage to the very squishy Annie. I mean, just look at the item discrepancy between supports at this point. You can see just how much more gold Fiddlesticks has here. I mean, Fizzif's doing what he can. He's got his oracles going. He's actually got distortion boots there, but not going to be too much here as Nami's going to look to go in once again. Just so aggressive here from OMG.
And they can afford to be. They have the items, they have the level, they still have Baron Bumper. Here we go.
Clearlove going to go in. Good Zonias though from going into deny. Fizzif looking for a good stomach, getting himself caught out the culling. Pops in there for Lucian as that's going to be a kill yet again onto Guy. Cool once again just throws out the ult and pops that poor jungler. And World Elite, as you said, no frontline, really no hope. There is a second inhibitor goes down, and OMG looking to close this game out very, very shortly.
And with 40% CDI, it almost feels like Gragas has Clearlove's death timer on the cooldown of that ability. Cool is caught here, takes a lot of damage, but should be able to get away alive.
Nice ult does live the last tower hit there. The Nexus turret's going to go down there. Salmei looking to go in as well with the Flame Spitters. Jessica takes a big chunk of damage. Fizzif maybe going to get the kill here, as Salmei is going to pick up the kill onto Fiddlesticks. But I mean, no Nexus turrets left. Lucian gets killed by Nami, 1v1 just off to the left in there as well. And now Nami, I mean, Salmei cannot be here against this Nami. They're going to try and go in 3v1 here, going. Going to back him up, make it a 2v3 Messiah. Look in there as well, going, picks up the kills, the equalizer. Gets popped down there. Hex Drinker popped in there as well for Nami, who's now out of mana. But this game, I think, over at this point, Papa Smithy.
Absolutely, and OMG, they've always been said to have W's number. The surrender actually comes out to finish the game there. GG, well played.
Yeah, and OMG just looked very comfortable there in the bit of the game we did get to see. Unfortunately, didn't get to catch it all, but hopefully for whatever technical issues we did have will be ironed out here for Game 2, and we'll get that one in full, and hopefully a Game 3 as well. Hello and welcome back everyone to the WCG 2013 semi-finals here. It is China on China as World Elite take on OMG here live from Kunshan City. My name is Patriot. I'm joined here by Papa Smithy. Papa, back for game 2.
Back for game 2 here. Unfortunately, we missed large portions of game 1, but we did see the end where OMG came out victorious, looking very, very comfortable, despite the fact they probably hadn't picked the stronger team fight comp. They went for the win lane win game, and it worked to a T.
Yeah, didn't get to see the lanes, unfortunately, but they certainly did win them. Big advantage when we jumped into that game, and it was just so pretty much impossible for World Elite to win team fights from that spot. But we have a new draft here, Papa.
So now World Elite is on the blue side here. We expect them to maybe pick up a strong jungler. They've actually banned out Elise, which is a champion that Clear Love can play, hoping for the first pick. Lee Sin, you'd have to think. Both of them banned now, so now the two highest precious junglers are both banned out. Will we see something new? Will we see the Fiddlesticks first pick, because that has been a champion very much contested by the Chinese teams, or maybe just the Jarvan for another strong jungler?
Yeah, Cassidy Banda here as well. Shyvana actually going to be the first pick here, a champion that's really in Salman's wheelhouse. Interesting to see that World Elite actually banned out Annie despite having first pick and playing her last game.
I think this is a very big deal as a first pick here. When I casted in the main stage with Doa yesterday, Xiao Mei's Shyvana was a sight to behold. His flanking engages, much like CJ Enter's plays are famous for, were outstanding. So seeing Shyvana locked in here will give a World Elite fan hope.
Yeah, big picks here for OMG though. Orianna, Lucian are their first two picks.
And we're seeing almost a mirror draft in terms of the contested picks here. Lucian and Orianna were the first two picks on the World Elite side, on the red side previously. Now Fiddlesticks will be taken on World Elite. And as we've discussed many times, this is an ambiguous pick. I'm actually leaning towards a Fiddlesticks jungle, which is interesting given the global meta here. But there is always the potential of swapping into support.
I like the respect band and blitz here from OMG as well. Because of just such a strong mechanical support player that want to make sure they get that one out of the way.
And this will confirm things.
Yeah, Jungle Fiddle will be the pick here if it is going to be Thresh being picked up as support. And I mean, Clear Love played this yesterday. Jungle Fiddle, haven't seen him in ages, but all of a sudden, this tournament especially, whether it's in support or in the jungle, it's been Fiddle everywhere.
And Clear Love and Loveland have been leading from the front there. A very aggressive Fiddlesticks as we see the mulling over the Teemo.
Yeah, everybody loves Teemo. As OMG having a little bit of fun here. Could pick him, but I doubt it. We'll see what happens though. And Singed would be a really interesting pick with Orianna.
I think Renekton is probably, so the Rengar is probably the realistic lock here. We've seen Flame playing such an impressive Rengar against Shyvana in that matchup multiple times here. Nunu is the potential jungler coming out here. That's the other jungler that Loveland has been playing this tournament. It's been that Nunu.
I like Nunu a lot, actually, against Fiddlesticks especially. You're not really particularly worried about getting out-dueled, and you can probably out-farm him and invade him if you need to as well. And he's just such a strong jungler. A decent farmer now with the changes to consume as well, and buffing that Lucian as well, just so good.
But what a different flavor to the jungle here. We've gone from an Elise versus Vi matchup, which is where we have a very strong ganking jungler, to a jungler that has decent ganks and then becomes immensely strong at ganking at level 6, compared to Fiddlesticks and Nunu, more support-orientated junglers here. We're probably going to see the cooldown reduction is going to be the pickups on Clear Love. We've seen pick up the Morello Nomicon into the CDR boots just to have as many fears as possible ready for a team fight, whereas Nunu, it fits Loveland's style to a T. He's going to be in the enemy jungle, chomping on whatever buffs he can get.
Yeah, you can see that World Elite as well. Last two picks, very standard here. Weijiao's going to get his Ezreal, which is easily his best champion here, and Nagragas is going to go over to the hands of Messiah for the Orianna matchup.
So I guess one of the small things we'll see an advantage. We've seen Name already has the cleanse here. It is going to be a barrier versus cleanse advantage in the early trades for Weijiao here. Of course, the Fiddlesticks is the great instigator of that cleanse pickup there. That 3-second fear is something that you need to be able to control for. So you're almost, as you said in the previous cast, priced in to pick up that cleanse.
Yeah, and I find it interesting that Fizzif actually went for Thresh here instead of something like Lulu. Lulu Shyvana is something we've seen a lot of, actually. It's really strong.
Absolutely, the Wombo combo there. We remember Lustboy and Flame doing that on the Blaze side last year, where you just use that Dragon's Descent and then the instant use of the Lulu ultimate there into an AoE Wombo combo. It's a beautiful sight to see, but they've gone for the Thresh here. They've gone for the lane pressure, and will it be enough? We'll have to see.
Well, OMG have a pretty spicy Wombo of their own. They've got Orianna Rengar with Lulu in there as well. Orianna Rengar can be terrifying.
And Rengar is a ball carrier, any sort of stealth champion with a ball carrier, such a scary potential for World Elite here. We hear the crowd, they're hyped up. It's a massive crowd on the D stage in Kunshan City, China at the World Cyber Games final. People are literally going out the door here as we load into the game.
Yeah, there is so little room for the amount of people that want to be here watching this match live. The atmosphere is incredible here at WCG, and we'll see here World Elite down a game here to OMG. Kind of as expected here, OMG have certainly had World Elite's number in the past and looking strong here once again. But World Elite, if they can make a third game here, they would make the fans so happy.
So loading in here, Xiaomei cutely, he does have the World Elite icon as his summoner icon here, repping his team. Nobody else on World Elite, so maybe not, but it's going to be a really interesting one here. The Rengar vs Shyvana matchup has actually been on the side of Rengar so far this tournament. Mostly it's been Flame there. The utility start from Nunu here, very interesting. He has both the Rejuvenation Biscuit and the Sight Ward there. It's interesting to see him start Boots here. You don't usually see Machete starts on Nunu just because it doesn't affect his Consume, which of course is his primary mana for clearing the jungle. We usually see a Doran Blade start, maybe for some combat stats, or just going for those Boots.
Yeah, and so Loveland here, as you're going to say, going to look to be very pesky here against this Fiddlesticks. Really just counter jungle clear Love as best he can, because Fiddlesticks really does not have a fun time in the jungle clearing. I mean, he's pretty safe with Drain. Darkwind's pretty good AoE as well against minions, but it just takes him a little while, and he's really vulnerable to just, draining a big creep and then having Loveland walk in and consume it.
So what we've seen from the level 1 last game was definitely a very defensive start. Seems like we're continuing here. We see Cool and Messiah maybe having some fun in the mid lane. We saw the taunting between Clear Love and Cool last game. But OMG, they're going for the invade.
Yep, Ward will spot them out though. Nice warding there for World Elite. No, I guess Lulu has some wards here, so Jessica going to put some down there. And let's get in, ward the red buff and get out. Again, no teams are really doing what we've seen a lot of in the LPL previously, was lots of 5-man grouping and really looking at ward deeply. Everyone's playing very, very safe.
Yeah, and I think the 3-buff start that we saw yesterday from Yoi Flashwolves against World Elite actually caught World Elite off guard, just because, again, we're seeing those much more passive level ones, less invading here. But we do see World Elite, they're grouped around the enemy red buff here. Maybe they're planning for the steal. Yeah,
really nice deep ward there actually. Fizzif maybe going to ward again. Just kind of hanging out towards the top area. Looks like he's going to be a lane swap, and going actually spotting off through a ward near the river. That might mean he'll swap back here, because he's actually going, yes, he's going to walk back down towards the bottom lane. Although it looks like he's been gamed again, because Ezreal's now down towards the bottom.
It was actually a very similar start in the LPL Summer semi-finals here, where World Elite, they tried to steal away the red buff, only to give Sun 2 kills and red buff. So maybe just the shades of a couple of weeks ago. Wanted to go for a more quiet start here, a more unkept start, as we see. Yep, it looks like Loveland's going to start his red buff.
Going's actually going to do some walls. Maybe no thought about it. Don't spawn until a little later, so he's just going to walk down to lane, it seems like. Yeah. Unfortunately, that means starting on the other side, that Rengar doesn't have the option of double jungling early on and getting a little bit of extra golden XP.
It's something that Xiaomei and Clear Love did last game. They continue at this game, just giving a little bit extra experience to Xiaomei, so that when he enters lane, he's a bit closer to level 2. We'll have some ranged wave clear to go away with his burnout, which gives him that AoE wave clear when the minion waves meet at the turret.
Yep, so Xiaomei now going to go up towards the top lane. It'll be 1v2s once again here to start things off here, and again another great matchup between two fantastic mid lane players here. A skill matchup here between Gragas and Orianna. I think slightly favoured for Gragas, but definitely, as you mentioned, a lot of talent here between these two players, and they'll need it.
And it is interesting to see the reverse matchups here. Last time we had Messiah on the Orianna and Cool on the Gragas, and you'd have to say that it was the Cool Gragas that took down that matchup here. In the very early levels, with that ranged auto attack, with the ramping auto attack damage from that Clockwork wind-up, you'd give it to Orianna. But once you hit level 6 and the explosive cask is available, Gragas really has the advantage in that matchup.
Yep, no, quick level 3s here for both junglers as well. Be interesting to see what Clear decides to do now. I think he's going to keep farming by the looks of things. He's got a Doran's ring as well. Nice grab actually there. The flare, I think, just missing, but a good amount of harass there on to go going.
A death sentence hits there, puts Go going on down to half health. He's still level 1. The minion wave signs come through. The Fiddlesticks is not in position for a turret dive here, but who knows? Maybe World Elite, they'll try their arm at something themselves.
And Ezreal in 2v1s to me is always so interesting, because he's not really a hard push champion, but when you have someone like Thresh especially, it really gives me kind of flashbacks to Blitz Ezreal, which we saw a bit of as well.
I just think in this meta, when you see a Rengar on the enemy team, when you see the assassination potential, having access to that arcane shift, being a safer carry as Ezreal means, in the laning phase, you're never ideal. You're either very safe in lane and able to farm, or you're pushing in a 2v1, and you can do that averagely, but with no real advantage. We've seen Loveland coming up. He's level 4 now. That utility set, maybe he's going for the extra experience there, but he's really, really putting on the levels as we see the pause.
Clear Love here as well, up towards the top lane here, just defending here, kind of cover. Again, we kind of moved away from a lot of the 3v1 tower dives that we used to see. I mean, OMG actually were one of the teams that, even after that, seemed to be going away from the meta. Just still did it and loved to do it, but Loveland doesn't really have a jungler that he can do that on here, and Nunu very much a utility jungler here. So both junglers are going to come in and just try and defend their 1v2s and help babysit a little. I actually really like Fiddlesticks for that exact purpose, because Darkwind is so good at counter pushing.
The interesting thing there was that after getting level 3, that was when we saw the death sentence hit by Thresh onto Going. He took a massive burst of damage. if Fiddlesticks hadn't have been blue pilling and completed his blue pill, if he had come for that level 3 dive, it would have been successful. It was a half health Rengar, level 1 still. The minion wave was piling. They would have been able to pick up a kill. But that's the sort of thing that you look back at afterwards and go, well, that was what could have been. It didn't happen, and finally we're loading back into the game.
Yeah, we are going to get back into here, and I kind of mentioned it earlier, but it really seems like we've got more aggressive bot lanes just generally here. So it's really interesting to see lane swaps actually happen.
Yeah, the lane swaps here have happened here. I mean, lane swapping Rengar makes sense to me. He doesn't have a lot of AoE wave play. He has very long cooldown on that raw ability, his W there, so he will get wave clear eventually, but at early levels, very long cooldown on that ability.
Yeah, you just traditionally in 2v1s you see a lot of fast pushing, and
Sure.
you just don't have that option in aggressive lanes here. And I think a lot of the really nice things is that the adaptation now is that the 2v1 lanes are just aggressively pressuring the one lane.
Sure, just trying to deny as much CS as possible, get turret hits in when you can. It's not the 4-minute turrets anymore, but it still lanes very much the same.
Yeah, and you kind of attempt to, I guess, gimp the 1v2 laner here. I mean, Shyvana pretty good in this spot, slightly ahead on CS here. Is some up against Go going, but they're going to be pretty casually here, and we'll see what happens. Again, it's important not to die under your tower.
And importantly, Xiaomei still has his pot here. Of course, didn't hit a death sentence like his lane partner here. So he's able to farm up at turret. We're watching mid lane here. 28 to 31, so Gragas actually farmed very well here. You give the early game to Orianna here, so you'd expect maybe a 10 CS advantage, but only a 3 CS advantage comes through.
Looks like Fiddle going to go in now. Cool could be in trouble, forced to flash out there. It's a nice aggression there from Fiddlesticks. Level 4 gang and moving with the red buff as his Messiah body slams on top.
Cool was forced to use his flash there, which is a very important cooldown. And that just means that at level 6, it should be Gragas' kill to acquire. He's level 5 now. We might see some shenanigans in mid very soon.
There's a lot of what we saw in the opening of the last game as well. Although, again, the players were playing the champions were reversed in that matchup here between the two. But now Gragas, as you mentioned, definitely got a lot of kill potential come 6. So we'll see what happens there. Back down the bottom, farming just happening as normal. Very even CS between the two ADs.
Yeah, just a fairly low-key match so far, which is not too surprising given the fact that we've gone from very high ganking junglers to support junglers here. Both these junglers, they're clearing waves, they're clearing up. When they both hit level 6, we might see some action coming through.
Yeah, Fiddlesticks there on the way. Clearlove still level 4. Loveland actually level 5 right now, so really powering through. One of the nice things here for OMG as well, potentially, is that I think they're kind of slow pushing the top turret to a point where they're able to time it with the next dragon. And Nunu is really, really good at doing an early dragon.
So looking over to the Korean scene, what we've seen a lot is Nunu jungle with a Caitlyn, which makes sense. You're giving Caitlyn that attack speed steroid that she does not have with her kit. You're letting her get ahead. And it just makes her mid-game with a Bloodthirster so deadly as we see so much turret damage coming onto the Water Lead turret. It's going to fall.
It is indeed here. And Water Lead are working on it, about half health down in his bottom turret. Ego doing as much as he can to clear these out. Now Loveling returning once again as well to just clear the waves as quickly as he can. I mean, Lulu here was the original 2v1 pusher here, so they're able to push down a little faster here in the top, although Salmei can take a lot of damage there, just trading in for a couple of creeps.
Yeah, just looking for more damage here as Name showing Reckless Abandon. I think more the difference there, because we do have 2 ranged supports, so Thresh is able to do a comparable damage to Lulu on a turret, but the difference here is that Lucian is such a proficient turret pusher. With that passive, the fact that he can get those 3 autos basically, or 2 autos in terms of damage instantly onto a turret, he is able to push. Compared to Ezreal, you never pick Ezreal for a fast push. He's decent at it, but until he gets levels in Mystic Shot, hard to keep that Rising Spellfuck's passive up.
Yeah, it looks like Trinity Force going to be up for both ADs as well, as they've completed their phages now. So pretty close in gold. Lucian slightly up here as Name's got Boots of Speed available. As the only item difference between the two. Clearlove down the bottom, again doing a little bit of counter pushing here, just trying to keep going back. He's also going to go back and spend some of his money, but see Nunu there around the dragon, they're thinking about it here. And OMG, yeah, as I said, they want to time this dragon, looks like they're going to get it.
But going back to that Nunu-Caitlyn synergy here, you might go back and say, hey, there's not that much synergy between Nunu and Lucian. And Lucian doesn't require attack speed as much as other guys. It does synergize well with the culling. It does give him more auto attacks in team fights, but we're going to see the Trinity Force carry come out here, whereas the Nunu Blood Boil works best with a traditional carry. But one of the reasons why it's so strong here is that at any moment, if OMG have a split push coming through between their jungler and their top leader, Nunu Rengar. Rengar trains down turrets, even if you go a very tanky build. If you go cooldown reduction, having cooldown on that Q means that you have so much attack speed there. Nunu and Rengar will absolutely delete turrets with that Blood Boil.
Yeah, Water Lead. Really nice warding down towards the bottom side of the river, towards Dragon actually. Very much expecting that rotation there. You could see Loveland actually moved in there, but I knew it was watered and kind of moved away from it here. So now 2v2 down towards the bottom lane. We're going to normalize these lanes a little bit, but of course OMG with an early little advantage here. Just under 1,000 gold up, but with that top tower down. You know, OMG love objectives. They'll be happy to have just one here early on, but still no first blood.
Yeah, it's a smaller gold lead than the global lead would suggest, just because the CS values for Shyvana are actually very healthy. 13 CS up on Rengar, who at the moment is jungling, taking away golems here. A very, very early Oracle's coming out from Nunu here. I mean, Nunu, a support jungler. This is taking support jungler to a whole different thing. An 8-minute Oracle's coming here, trying to remove the vision here. And that's one thing that might actually hurt the Gragas roam here, potentially, just because the ward coverage should be in the advantage of OMG.
I mean, for me, this spells an investment on Dragon. And if they don't get it, OMG are going to be very, very sore.
So we see Nunu, he does walk to Dragon, as mentioned. He's going to clear a ward here. Messiah looks around on Gragas, he'll back away. Otherwise, the lanes pretty much function as you'd expect here.
I think clearly I've just got a ward thrown at him. He's hanging out in the bottom brush looking for a gank. Oh no, there's going to be a pink ball going down. He's going to go through Jessica now. Could be in trouble there. The fear moves in his way. Just trying to get the kill. Damage goes. Lucy gets in a first blood. Going to go to Water Leaders. The Flay comes in. Double kill, actually, as Fizzle's going to take out Name. Fantastic presence there from Clearlove.
And Loveland had to invest so much time to clear wards there that he was not present for a fight. Messiah comes in with the explosive cast. It is flashed by Nunu. And now suddenly we have a game on our hand page time. 2-0. The first Dragon you have to think is going to fall for Water Lead here. And suddenly, Water Lead are on the front foot.
Yeah, I mentioned, Nunu's such a great neutral buff controller, so great at Dragon. Fiddlesticks no slouch either in that department. That's going to be a very quick Dragon. For once, World Elite, don't mess it up at the 10-minute mark.
I don't know how Clearlove was able to sneak into bottom lane there for the Crow Storm, but it was beautiful play rush there. Lulu did not have the ultimate available, no wild growth to be able to survive that engagement. It picked up a kill, they pick up a Dragon. Water Elite looking strong.
Yeah, and you mentioned just how high impact Fiddlesticks' ultimate can be. Clearlove really making good use of it here at Loveland with his very early oracles. Needs to try and clear out as best he can. I mean, I mentioned that it felt like an investment for Dragon. OMG did not pick up that first Dragon.
But the other thing that you have to think about here, base time, is it's against a jungle Fiddlesticks. So one of the criticisms of Fiddlesticks as a carry jungler is that his ultimate requires a lot of setup. You have to be in one of those brushes, you need to be behind a wall, and if you're losing in the ward war, then you're not going to be able to get those Crow Storms off for damage whatsoever. The first Crow Storm of the match was successful. The next 3 minutes or so, we're going to see the ward clearing coming up. Going to be more difficult there, but the counter oracles comes through here. It's pretty expected from Clearlove. He doesn't build ability power for damage. He more goes for the Morellonomicon into the Banshee's Veil just to spam out those fears in a team fight. And if he hits any damage with that Crow Storm, it's a bonus.
Yeah, Fizz, if they're taking out that ward down towards the bottom part of the map. So I think OMG now realizing what happened there, it's like, oh, it was a Fiddlesticks in a pink water brush, and that was what did cause the first 2 kills there down towards the bottom lane to go in favor of Water Lead. So looking good with a neat little advantage here. Still don't have a tower, so OMG minimizing that gold lead just a little here, but it's going to be a very, very early vision war between these two. And I think even both Nunu and Fiddle actually can potentially do really, really well in brushes if they can deny vision and use their ultimates.
I guess when you compare the two Oracle carriers here, the one thing you say about Fiddlesticks is that he's more brittle than Nunu, and of course he doesn't have the Blood Board to have as much move speed here. So definitely he's someone that can be abused when it comes to trying to cancel out the Oracles and kill him. But it's still a strong move, it's still a smart move here from Clearlove. They're winning this early game, they want us to ensure that, pick up an Oracle to try and even this ward war. Yeah,
top lane is going to be kind of a farm fest here, but kind of interesting divergence here. I mean, very standard for both these champions, but we're going to have Sunfire Cape rush here for Shyvana and the Spirit Visage rush here for Going.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense here. Of course, even though you build attack damage on Shyvana, even though the burnout scales with attack damage, I mean, the base damages are all magic damage there, so it makes sense to rush that Spirit Visage. It will also help the trades immensely here, because when you see the double W, the double roar, the massive chunk of healing is affected by Spirit Visage there. It just means that it helps Rengar win trades against that Shyvana.
Someone actually popped deep. Dragon's Descent up towards the top as well. So he's backing off now. I assume the Sunfire's Cape finished up now, and that will make the lane a lot easier here, because you can really push in a Rengar now.
And Rengar, although he does magic damage, when you max that W, this more utility Rengar, this split push Rengar that you see, harkening back to Season 2, when of course we saw the Type A Assassins using that to quite the T here. I mean, I believe this will be a very close lane between Shyvana and Rengar, as we do see the Shyvana is finished. That Destin's come out from Fizzle. We see a small CS advantage coming out for Wei Zhao in the bottom lane, but nothing major.
About to see some fireworks here. The ult does come up for Gragas, so is Lovely going to take a good chunk of damage. True Drop on Ripping, Clearlove Flash Spear, Messiah picks it up. Orianna ultimate a little late there as Clearlove rides the lantern out. Messiah are a little trapped in the Dragon Pit now, but nice rotation there from Water Elite. Pick themselves up a free kill.
The synergy between the Water Elite members, the communication there was so on point. The re-engage by Gragas to pick up that kill was outstanding there. Water Elite have come to play here. Unfortunately, we missed a large point of the first game, but in the second game here, they definitely are looking to win.
Yeah, and Loveland, actually, I mean, Oracle's a little different in 3.13, so you're not going to remove it, but we'll waste a little bit of that time there as Nunu's dead, so a bit more chance to get those wards that get some vision control over.
Well, the double-edged sword of making oracles persist during death, but decreasing the timer is that when you're dead, you're not clearing wards. It takes you about a minute to go through the death timer and to get into position to clear wards.
Flush Flay there as well, down towards the bottom. Wei Zhao looking for a death sentence. Does get instant cleanse actually, but Wei Zhao gonna chase in there as the Culling gets popped. Name very much in trouble, and that's gonna be a kill.
Wei Zhao, Ezreal, it's where he always looks best, looking super strong in this game. 4-0 is a big early advantage, but Xiaomei is starting to struggle actually against Gogoing in the top lane.
Yeah, despite finishing up the Sunfire Cape Gogoing, looking good here still in Rengo, who's very strong early. He's just gonna dive in once again here. I mean, Minion Wave's going to be a thing, but Xiaomei can demolish them now as Shyvana. Gogoing still kind of man-fighting here as Wei Zhao down the bottom, a little low. Lovelin looking to maybe get some work done, but going to go out now. Messiah rotating up. It's all a bait here. Good old back there. He's Gogoing's forced to move back in. Xiaomei got to be careful. Oh, great jump out. The flash in there as well for Gogoing, and he'll get out safely.
The use of the passive into the flash there was amazing evacuation maneuvers by Gogoing there. Waste Messiah time with the roam. We see Orianna pushing into the mid lane here. Very, very nice Rengar moves from Gogoing.
Yeah, we'll see now. Looks like items to the mid lane is starting to come out as well. Actually, a pretty big CS lead here for Cool in the mid lane. Over 20 and counting here, Blue. Both Athene's finished up now as well. Double Doran's now finished for Orianna as well as the Sork Shoes. But I imagine Messiah's got a good chunk of global gold to go and spend, so they're going to be fairly even in terms of gold.
A small CS advantage snowballing from the early levels where you have a ranged auto attack against the quite high barrel roll cooldown on Gragas isn't unexpected in that matchup here. But we've also seen Gragas with some extensive roaming. He would have lost a minion wave or two to the turret, and that would largely explain the difference here. Clear Love, he's setting up, but I'm not sure if he's been spotted.
We'll see here. Does he have his flash? He does not. So he's going to have to really look for the bait here, or Fizzle will have to land the hook of the Sentry. They're going to try and get a kill. I think you're realizing maybe can't quite get it done. Does have an Oracle, so realizes where he walked through wasn't watered, but not quite forward enough. Of course, he'll also now level up now as well on top of Gogoing. Rengar now starting to struggle a bit, it seems like.
Yeah, so Xiaomei is clearing waves here. The CS values 32 CS is a significant advantage for Shyvana in this top lane. It is working towards a Spirit Visage of her own. But yes, the 40% CDR is what Clear Love favors. So we're going to see the Banshee Veil and the CDR boost, the Ionian boost.
Oh, grabs cool actually, Loveland. The double fly back in, beautiful art from Messiah. Wait on a killing spree now, as that's maybe going to get a kill onto Ori as well. Cool, very, very low as Clear Love rides back in. They really want the kill, but Fizzif in trouble, going to go down to Nami. Now Gogoing jumping on top of Wei Zhao. He's got to get out as the shutdown moves in. The command dissonance will take it out as now Messiah needs to run away. Gogoing, his presence really felt in that first fight, but Shyvana is going to get the tower.
Any small skirmish around the bush is always going to be Rengar's paradise right there. Picks up 2 kills, starts to arrest the momentum. This is going to be the mid turret falling as well for World Elite. And suddenly, the game turns on its head even ever so slightly.
Looks a little closer. World Elite still up by a few thousand gold, but OMG trying to close that gap as best they can and Gogoing. What beautiful timing there. Incredible initiation from World Elite. They're double flayed back into Gragas Ultimate after landing a hook onto Orianna, but wasn't quite enough there. Couldn't quite do the damage. Lots of kiting around the brush.
Importantly, the dragon was smited away by Fiddlesticks there. So World Elite, they are 2 dragons up. You can see the gold lead here, 4.1k, so they're definitely in the advantage, but those sort of skirmishes do set up an interesting mid-game here. The item advantage for Wei Zhao here is massive compared to Lucian. The completed Trinity Force, well on the way to the last Whisper here, compared to still working on the Trinity Force. Probably has the gold now, as we see him blue pilling right here. But in team fights, Wei Zhao's power is definitely going to be felt.
And you can see that. I mean, Wei Zhao been so aggressive. It's funny. This is kind of the opposite of the matchup we had before, right? In fact, both teams have swapped the AD carries and their mid laners in terms of who's playing what. And Ezreal looks really good here at this point. I mean, I guess the gank from Clear Love really helped out. And again, all that pressure to get the first double kill looking good. But that dragon's going to win it. Clear Love forced a flash out. He's in trouble. Loveland actually going to follow in. There's a lantern right out. No, not enough. The ultimate from Orianna will pick him up.
They used a lot there, but they're going to try and transition that into a bit of map pressure here. Nice kill coming out there. Looking at the items here, we see Shyvana is actually maybe going to make a beeline towards Thornmail, as we see actually losing damage trade just to go going here, which is a little bit of a scary thing moving into the later game here. But probably going to go for the Thornmail before the Spirit Visage here, having both components of a finish right now.
I mean, I was casting with Monty, I think yesterday. It was explaining the Rengar here and how Flame from Blaze loves to play him here, and he really does kind of get to this point where when he's farming towards his tank items, he's kind of in a little bit of trouble where his early game damage isn't quite as good, although he's fighting perfectly fine here against Salmei, and kind of hits a little bit of a value before really peaking when he gets his damage going again, and Salmei really has to take advantage of that little dip here in power.
I mean, the sustain that you get from maxing that W ability and building cooldown reduction is insane base jump. He's healing for about 300 every few seconds here. The CS advantage is still very much in Shyvana's pocket here. She's still going to be building for teamfights rather than building for lane here. Just going to stick with the Negatron Cloak, building into the Thornmail here. But I guess the third Dragon will be the big contention point. The support junglers, they're clearing wards everywhere. It does feel a bit like Season 2.
It does, doesn't it?
But the objectives are going to be the big question mark.
Yeah, so Salmei, a bit of a thorn in OMG's side right now in towards the top lane. Rengar, certainly known for his amazing split push, but that's Salmei's job right now. They'll go going once again, not afraid of fighting him, as they'll just man fight and trade it back and forth.
And the issue here for Shyvana, of course, is the damage is sticking to her. She doesn't have any regen coming out from any of the items, no room for any pots. And Rengar, every 6 or 7 seconds, once he gets to that 5 stacks, healing for about 300. So the war of attrition is going in Rengar's favor as this game goes on.
Cool and Loveland running down the bottom here. Want to try and get initiation happening on towards the duo lane, onto Ezreal actually.
Command Shockwave is back up, so definitely a window for something here. World Leader moving as a team. Those ward wars, that vision war is going to be oh so important coming up here.
Tower goes down there, World Elite not in time to defend it. Lantern thrown out there as Loveland's looking to go in. Maybe they can pick him off here. But Nunu pretty tanky, even though he doesn't have too many items here. Has finished his Spirit of the Ancient Golem, so very nice cost-efficient stats there as well. Got going, really getting off on his item build as well, and oh, Rengar pops his ult. They're going to look for something here. The hook does come through. They find Cooler going to the top. Crowstorm over the top as well. Messiah picks him up. There was that ult. He's shut there on top of Wei Zhao, but Loveland in a whole host of troubles. He's forced to flash out of the way. Wei Zhao really going to chase him down. Gragas picks up the kill as Ignite will get it done here, and both teams tried to set up traps there, but Waterloo really had the vision on that one.
Interesting. Good going. You activated the ultimate. They knew that the Crowstorm was coming there, but it was just a split-second decision right there. They blew up Cool. Shockwave's still available right here.
And now Waterloo, they're baiting. Actually, 3-manning Baron. And Fizzer's trying to look around to defend. This is so aggressive from World Elite.
This is very, very risky. Going is at full health.
Hook comes in. They've got to be careful. Going gets jumped on. He's getting bursted down as he gets fiddle-feed up. Chasing there as Clear's going to pick it up. Now Jessica moving in as well. Can't get the Baron's time. Messiah very, very low. Now Wei Zhao moving in. Pops his barrier there as Fizzer throws down the Dark Passage for a bit of Lantern Shield. This is such an aggressive Baron. And there's that culling popped up from Lucy that's coming up as well. This is going to be really, really bad for World Elite, but they're trying to finish it. They're looking for it away. They peel up. They get Baron there as Clear picks it up. Now getting flash play, Goodall in there as well, but he's going to be absolutely obliterated. And World Elite, such control there as Nami's dead as well, it looks like.
Pastry time, there is a fine line between madness and genius, and the genius is coming through from World Elite. You can hear the crowd. Everyone is so excited. Well,
oh, cool, Wei Zhao going to try and outplay it. Flash forward in there as well, getting to it. No! Wei Zhao Nova outplaying people left, right, and center on Ezreal, but Cool gets the better of him this time.
And Orianna saunters away, feeling like she's been a bit lucky there, missed the shockwave, still took down the kill. Wei Zhao on very low of health here, and let's take stock of where we're at here. Pastry time, 6k is the goal lead. Baron buff on 4 members here for World Elite. And what a game we have on our hands.
World Elite really is kind of the game to lose at this point, but OMG, we've seen them in this position before. They are absolutely comfortable playing from behind. They are a horrifying team to play against, and this Rengar is only going to get stronger in here as well. The items still coming out here, the gold difference not massive here between the two, but Wei Zhao now completing up some major items. Last Whisper done, Blade of the Ruin King on the way as well. Lucian looks behind here.
But talking about the power of, at the start of the game, the Rengar initiate into the Cool ultimate. Rengar is a fantastically strong ball carrier just because of that invisibility here. And if they do not have the pink walls or the advanced warning here, it is the assassination on Wei Zhao that needs to happen here. Wei Zhao, as you say, Trinity Force, Last Whisper, he's even got the Bilgewater Cutlass on top of that. They need him to die if you're an OMG fan to win a team fight here. I mean, we saw the cute assassination by Cool there. That needs to happen at the start of a fight, not as a cleanup after Dragons on Baron have already been taken.
World Elite crucially still behind on towers here. Salmei doing work. They're really just trying to push down this tower. Again, Rengar, a fantastic split pusher, but really needs to be able to fight the Shyvana, and Salmei clears wave so quickly. We're going to have a 4-man move in here with the Baron buff still going to go onto that tower. They will take it out and equalize that metric in there as well. I mean, WE, they went for an aggressive Baron and they got it. They need to make stuff happen now.
There's some very big goal. Experience advantages here. You look at Xiaomei, level 16 to go to the level 14 on going here. Wei Zhao's a level up. The items are in their advantage. This is World Elite's game to lose right here. They're going to start poking here. They have the immensely strong poke from Ezreal here with the Last Whisper completed. Those Mystic shots, they're going to be sticking. Messiah, he has the 40% cooldown reduction here. He's very close to the Void Staff. You have to feel they're going to open this up and try and get at least close to the inhibitor right here.
Oh, Clearlove actually ults in there. The ultimate misses though for Orianna.
But a more important cooldown there. The Shockwave is drawn out for no effect whatsoever. Not even Clearlove was hit by that Shockwave. This should be an indication that it's time to take down this tower.
And that might have been a very next level bait there from Clearlove. He has a ton of CDR building up towards potential, I think Banshee's Veil, I guess. Maybe not a Spirit Visage here. So that's how they're going to tank up the tower. This is very manly. Salmei's just so tanky. Good ult there from Messiah as well. Damage on the Loveland. Nami now using his ult. He has to clear these waves out. Gragas poke still moving in as well. Going to take out this dragon as well. It looks like for, I think, the 3rd or 4th time in a row. And Water Elite, they've carved themselves out a very, very strong lead here. Baron buff still not that much left on them.
I mean, just go back to that Baron. We didn't see a replay there pastry time, but you have to be such an assertive team to stick onto that Baron. It was almost a crazy move right there. 2 members up, all poking there, but crucially, all 5 members were above half health when they started that Baron, so they were able to trade tank it. As I said, through all the shouting, genius and madness, such a fine line between those two. If we're going to be results-orientated, it definitely worked out for World Elite, and they're on the way to a win here, which would force it to our first Game 3 of the quarterfinals, and such an exciting series.
I mean, first Game 3 of OMG versus World Elite in, what, 5 weeks?
Absolutely. They need to take out this win, but crucially, they haven't got it yet, as we see a 3-man invade crew coming out here from OMG, trying to clear vision as much as possible here. This game is certainly not over by any stretch of the imagination.
Baron buff should tick off now as well from World Elite. It is done here. Rengar, you can see getting his items going as well. We've got, but now the classic Bruiser items here, Spirit Visage plus the Sunfire Cape already finished up here. We've got Warden's Mount and the Spectre's Cowl as well, though, for Shyvana, who's getting massively tanky.
And the tried and true Clear Love special when it comes to Jungle Fiddlesticks here. Banshee Veil and Morello Nomicon. Low cooldown on that Fear. Once he gets in there with his ultimate, the power of that Banshee Veil is that they don't use a targeted spell on it. If he avoids the AoE, he's able to get to the back and get a second Fear on a carry, and that's where the deletion can come through.
Void stuff up for Messiah as well, speaking of deletion. This Gragas doing absolutely mountains of damage right now. Kind of a similar situation to where World Elite found themselves in against OMG's Gragas in the Game 1 here, where Gragas is just so strong when he's ahead. I mean, World Elite are not nearly as far ahead as OMG were in that first game here, but he's very scary.
It's just so strange to cast an OMG game where we feel like Loveland is actually a bit toothless on this jungle Nunu. There's only so much he can do on that champion. His early invades have not paid out. He's behind in levels here, and he's just a glorified Blood Boil bot at this point.
Yeah, Elise Band looks like a stroke of genius here, as OMG are in fact on the struggle bus now. We've got the push coming out from World Elite, trying to 5-man, just do whatever they can. Happy to see Chief got great poke.
Yeah, absolutely. Trinity Force Last Whisper completed for Ezreal here. That poke is sticking. There is no sustain coming out from the OMG seat here. No sustain whatsoever in the game. But they haven't turned this Baron into an inhibitor, crucially. The Baron has timed out here. About 2 minutes, I believe, left on that objective. So they're still pushing. They're still on the advantage here. A very big minion wave pushing in the top lane. They want to buy as much time as possible with this bottom lane push.
Yeah, and interestingly, Salma has actually decided to group with his team now. Was doing a ton of split pushing before, but for whatever reason, World Elite decided to group as 5 now and try and siege this down. And OMG, all they can really do is respond and try and defend their towers for as long as possible. And this next Baron is going to be very, very crucial.
Even the next team fight page time, whether it's at Baron, whether it's under this turret, it should tell the tale of this game, because if World Elite can win it, this game should be over.
I mean, I think that's probably the best thing to note there, in that the next Baron will not be free for OMG. Looks like we are going to have to fight. The Wild Growth popped in there as well. Oriana was looking for it, but Salmai slays cool very quickly as Clear's moving in. The double kill. Salmai completely wrecks the back lines over OMG, and Loveland trying to save who he can. Jessica gets dumped there by Messiah, and now Loveland in trouble. Tower's absolutely nothing here to Shyvana as Clear going to rotate back in there as well. The double kill as Nunu goes down. Messiah picking one up as well. We're going to have the AC completed as Wei Zhao gets that out, and listen to that crowd. A clean ace there for World Elite, and OMG look almost dead here in this game.
Just lovely training of tanking there. Only 2 very tanky members left up at the moment there. Xiaomei is a beast on Shyvana once again. You cannot leave that champion up whatsoever against World Elite. He is just so strong on that champion. And this should be World Elite pulling in for the victory.
Yeah, gold lead well and truly in their favor. Now 10,000 plus here. In fact, you are right. They're going to look to actually close the game out here. They'll get at least 1 Nexus Tower. Clearly actually rushing back. I think they're going to go for Baron here, it seems like.
They're backing off to shop here before the Baron. They don't want to see a counter Baron come out. They didn't want to wait for the home guards to potentially clean them up. But everything is going World Elite's way this game.
Clearlove going back, picks up Ionian Boot of Lucidity, a Vision Ward in there as well. Wants to make sure they have control around the Baron area. I imagine if it's timed out that Fizz will pick up an extra Oracles now as well. And we said it kind of before, around the 6,000 gold lead mark that World Elite, this felt like their game to lose. It is absolutely their game to throw well and truly far away.
Absolutely. 12,000 is the gold lead here, and they have every metric covered. 40% CDR Fiddlesticks, mean that Fear is on a very short cooldown. All the damage items completed on Gragas. And look at this Shyvana. Randuin, Sunfire Cape, Thornmail. Why even auto-attack her at this point? You're not going to do any damage. You're just going to slow yourself down and actually return a bit of damage to yourself.
Shyvana still does plenty of damage in there, so you saw in that last fight. That's exactly why they wanted Salme with them. Completely wrecked OMG's backline.
Absolutely. I mean, 580 base damage on that burnout. The Sunfire Cape burning at the same time. The magic damage is super, super high.
Clearlove finds a friend. Because that Salme's moving in. Dragon's Descent comes in. The hook goes through. True Shot Barrage pops in there as well. Loveland caught out now. And Salme is just happy to completely block the rest of the team here. That's one clean kill. Messiah, great ultimate there. Moves Sticker out of the way, but they're a little scattered now. Have to be careful. So Messiah wants to chase down this last kill. Sticker, nowhere to really run. Gets destroyed by a barrel.
Popped by the barrel there. They don't have the minion wave to support them, so they'll probably go for Baron here. If the minion wave was advanced there, they could have pushed into the inhibitor. The minion wave was not. They'll probably take Baron here. It's going to be a largely uncontested Baron, barring some sort of heroics from going.
Got to be careful though. This Baron is not free for Lord Elite.
Well, no smite is available here. 5 members around it. It will be some sort of heroic steal from OMG.
Loveland looks like he does have the smite. Oh, he's dead, of course. That's a little hard to smite when you're dead as going. Trying to find the heroics. Maybe he can get a hit. He's taking a little bit of damage. Wei Zhao again, taking the Baron pit. That's not where he wants to be. But Salme moves out of the way. Wei Zhao gets over the top. Lantern moving down there is like, I'm going to pick it up. Almost stolen there by Orianna. But a good smite under pressure from Clearlove. And now the damage moving in. Very low here at World Elite. But they back off. Oh my. That is a dead Gragas, unfortunately. It's going to drop the Baron buff.
But they're all going to return to base whatsoever. Even though they have the Baron buff, they need to heal up here. Wei Zhao, as you said, taking Baron for a very long time. They got down to about 300 hit points. OMG might even be able to pick up an answering turret here and arrest some of the global pressure that World Elite have been able to put out.
Got to give a massive amount of credit to OMG as well, despite being absurdly behind in this game. Pretty much as behind as World Elite were in Game 1. Managed to keep focused here and take out objectives where they can. That was a really nice poke around the Baron area and gives them a free turret.
Okay, so Gragas' death timer obviously will stall out the push. We see Wei Zhao refreshing his red buff here. Wei Zhao, so many items. Could be a Trinity Force, Play the Ruin King, Last Whisper. Even has an extra pickaxe there, perhaps working towards an Infinity Edge. Loveland able to smite away the dragon there, so a bit more global gold for OMG. But again, 13k is the gold lead here. They are not able to arrest that global gold advantage that World Elite have.
It's time for a miracle defense for OMG now. They are so behind here. 2 minutes have elapsed in this game. OMG, they can pull it to late game and maybe go from there, but it's going to take a long time to equalize this gold difference here. And World Elite really at the cusp of potentially closing out this game here and forcing a game 3. And it's been so long since World Elite took OMG to 3 games.
So Messiah is going to take a while here. He's just respawned. He's going to pick up the blue buff here. World Elite, they're just going to ward up here. They're going to clear wards as much as possible. And once that Gragas shows up, the action's going to start.
OMG, Messiah almost finishes Zhonya's as well as the components they finished up. A Salme could be in a little bit of trouble here. I mean, very tanky on that Shyvana. Just going to take a little bit of poke damage here as OMG looking to defend the turrets that are left here. Not quite sure how long the inhibitors got left, but can't be too long now.
Alright, Messiah's grouped up with his team here, 5 men strong. A lot of wave clear available on the OMG side between Orianna and the manipulation of the ball. And of course, Lucian here. They're tanking up the turret here. This is a very aggressive play, but that's been World Elite's trademark all game here. The first Baron was one of the most assertive, aggressive Barons I've seen in a very long time here. They're happy to tank up turrets with reckless abandon, and they haven't been punished for it yet.
Gogong was hanging out towards the bottom lane as well, trying to clear out the waves that are still pushing in there from the super creeps there. And World Elite now grouped together once again. Salme just like, yeah, whatever, I'm Shyvana. Happily going to tank this up. Hugo going. He's invisible. He's looking for it. He wants to carry the ball. He's going to jump on Wei Zhao. Good wild growth. They're actually just missing Slay there. Sicker now in a lot of trouble. Salme unstoppable as he takes out that Lulu, and that's really bad news for OMG's defense.
World Elite disengaged. They have that HP regen from Baron right here. You think on the next minion wave they're going to go for this turret and dive if there's any members under it, and OMG cannot do much to stop them.
Shyvana are enough of a problem on her own, but with Baron buff and all that health regen. I mean, Cam talked about it before. It's clear they're going to go in here onto Loveland. Crowstorm popped in there. Now Fizzip get a right in there as well. What on earth was that as Salme looking to go through there? Purple turret does go down there as Loveland's ultimate pops off, but World Elite still have everybody alive here. Salme still taking everything here on Shyvana. World Elite going to get themselves the top inhibitor now as well. So many minions in towards the mid as well. Maybe they can clean out that.
Both the Dragon's Descent and the Crowstorm used to distract there. And look at this, World Elite, they move away with 5. They got the objective they were looking for and they back away.
Take out the middle inhibitor turret in there as well. Probably going to have to wait on that inhibitor now. As OMG going to look to defend back with 5 up. Whoop, Fizzip. Got to be a little careful there. Backs himself away. Does not want to get jumped on here.
But with all other turrets done here, Pastry Time, barring that miracle engage between Rengar and Orianna, there's not much OMG can do at this point. They have no turrets to fight under. They have no advantages to really trade upon here. World Elite looking super, super strong, and you have to think this is going to be the final push.
I mean, we'll see. Always out getting caught. That's really bad news. The Arcane shifts out of the way, but he dies to cool. I mean, they maybe have enough time to wait out a very long death timer, but that was a crucial misplay there from Wei.
Little individual mistakes like that are what OMG needs, because this is time for them to use the map to push the lanes out, to pick up some farm, and just to try and arrest some of the global gold. Look at Lucian here. Still only has the Trinity Force on the last Whisper. He's working towards the Blade of the Ruin King here, but he's significantly behind Wei Zhao, and only time will allow him to get back into the game. The Blade of the Ruin King is a very big pickup here, especially against Xiaomei's Shyvana. Of course, Shyvana's a champion who wants to get into melee range to do about as much of her damage as possible. Blade of the Ruin King stealing away that move speed, especially when she activates her burnout, could be a massive advantage.
Just missing the death sentence there. Throws the lantern in. OMG quite aggressively towards World Elite's jungle there, but they've got their bottom inhibitor back. They're going to buy a little bit of time here. Wei Zhao 6 seconds off now from coming back up.
I actually worry if Fizziv had hit the death sentence there and gone in just because they did not have Wei Zhao around. At best, it would have been a 4v4 situation. They don't need to be forcing even fights at this point, Patient Time. They are still well in advantage in terms of gold. Just calm down, push out their lanes, let Wei Zhao come and group with the team and take one of the free inhibitors, the inhibitors without any turrets, and try and finish up those objectives.
World Elite can wait for Baron if they want, but for them it really is time to just push down and show up and blow up, because they need to get some work done here. The game very much in their hands, but they need to make sure they close out. And World Elite traditionally have been very good at closing games out decisively. I think they feel a little shaken here because they're so far ahead against OMG and it hasn't happened in so long, but they just maintain their discipline, stay calm. They will take this game to game 3.
Group just 5 here. We see Wei Zhao is able to free hit this inhibitor.
Collingwood moving, going around the side. They want Wei Zhao. Wild growth in there as well, but the Oriana Roll can't quite get it done. Messiah, defensive ulcer as Salmei just dives in towards our backline. He wants to do as much as he can. Gets turned into a fluffy, cute animal there for a second instead of a dragon. A lot of ultimates used there, but no one really took a lot of damage.
Absolutely, and that Dragon's Descent is such a powerful zoning tool here. How do you get past Xiaomei? Randuin, Spirit Vision, Sunfire Cape, Thornmail, and the Ninja Tabi here. He can soak damage for days and does unignorable damage, and that's the crazy thing about Shyvana.
Baron about 2 minutes away here at this point. World Elite, though, they want some inhibitors before they consider going for the 3rd Baron of the game, potentially. And I mean, OMG have all 5 now. Maybe ults coming back off. Don't have quite as many as would like, but neither do World Elite. Going to try and get something done here. Salmei taking quite a bit more damage now. Going, looking again. Lancing it right out Salmei. He's quite low here. Fear used as well. OMG, this could maybe be the time to go in. Culling does get popped there. Clear Love in trouble, actually. Double flame moves back. Name picks up the kill there. OMG trying to make it work here. Fizziv flashed over the wall. Wei Zhao as well. Does get stunned up towards the end. But it'll be okay. Oh, just missing over him. Rides a lantern out as well. And I think they'll be okay there as Loveland pops his ultimate. Good ult from Messiah. Picks up the kill on Name.
And now the shoe might be under the foot here as we see Messiah. He says he's got double bust.
Oh, very aggressive onto Seeker. Great Zone is in there as well. Looks to pop the barrel, but quite can't get it done. As Salmei's going to go in absolutely deep here. Wants the kill onto Lulu. Maybe going to get another Dark Passage Lantern. Will be enough. He gets the kill, but shut down there. Let's go going. Finally picks up the top lane. A Thresh actually getting the kill. Amazing hook in OMG. They pack it in.
World Elite, it's been 3 tournaments, 3 2-0s in a row. Not 2-0 here today, Pastry Time. 1-1, and what a final game we have to see who gets to face CJ Blaze in the finals.
I have to say, OMG kind of tapped out a little earlier here to that crowd. Don't know how much you guys can hear that, but the crowd here just outside our door, absolutely
they can see the
happy.
pictures, Pastry Time. This is literally fire code material here, Pastry Time. Not a space to move whatsoever, and what a final game we have to bring you here.
We got exactly what we wanted, a game 3 between these two absolutely massive teams here. China on China will continue as the titans of the scene take it out here to game 3 for the semi-finals of League of Legends WCG 2013 finals in Kunshan City, China. Papa Time will be back for an incredible game 3. Stay tuned.
这个只要有心情吃东西啊，我觉得大家都会非常的紧张，而且现在基本上是随先锋走错这里特别是一个特别位置，大家现在都知道偏离紧张气氛在，但是大家确实可以活动一下。我想，因为我不知道大家是不是在小明星的。好，那我们大家休息一下，接下来感谢双方的第3场比赛。
Hello and welcome back everybody to the last game here of the semi-finals for WCG 2013 Grand Finals here live from Kunshan City, China. It is OMG 1-1 against World Elite. My name is Pastry Time. I'm joined by Papa Smithy and Papa. Incredible second game there.
Absolutely. It took 4 series, but finally World Elite able to record a victory here, pull it to even. But now on the red side, my question is, how does this draft come out? We've seen Shyvana, we've seen the ganking junglers be key points of these draft phases. So the first pick here will leave me super intrigued.
Yep, Gragas and Jax here banned out from OMG to kick things off. Fiddlesticks now banned on the red side for OMG, so for World Elite, and Cassidy gets banned once again. He do not want to face Cool's Cassidy here. Last ban now up for OMG as well, and of course they'll have first pick here coming into our final game of this best of 3.
So far the contested picks, Orianna, Shyvana, Lucian, Elise are all available here. I think the jungles will probably be the most interesting thing here. Also the potential of an Orianna without Gragas available is something that could potentially come through this draft here. 1 second left. Timer actually runs out. No, Renekton is the final ban here. So will it be Shyvana? Will it be Orianna? Will it be Lucian? All contested picks as the final ban here from World Elite.
I mean, it's interesting because I feel like Elise and Lee Sin kind of do such a similar thing. I mean, they're actually going to ban Elise, interestingly enough. I thought they would leave both up and maybe try and take the other one, but no, they're going to ban it.
And now it feels like the hard choice for OMG here is that they lock in the Orianna here, or do they lock in the Lee Sin? Because you can guarantee whichever of those two they leave up will go to the side of World Elite.
They're going to take Shyvana instead. Wow. They do not want Xiaomei to have that. That's instantly
the
going to
lock of Lee Sin and Orianna. So Shyvana taken away from Xiaomei. That has been the champion that's really catapulted him to really relevance in the top lane here. Once his cannon was nerfed, he tried a lot of champions to mix success. His Xiaomei's Shyvana has been outstanding this tournament.
Pretty clever draft here from OMG. Ban out Renekton, take the Shyvana away. And now somebody's going to have to show us something else. Maybe going to show Rumble again. But I mean, it's a kind of classic red side draft here from World Elite where you kind of leave up 2 strong picks that you can get, because even though you don't have first pick, you have to give one away.
But the split push pressure from Shyvana will be something that'll be very hard to deal with here. We saw Rengar was the attempted counter pick last game to mix success against Xiaomei's Shyvana, and now we're ticking away here. We see some problems with Loveland. Hopefully we'll be able to log in a champion.
I don't think that's quite right. Maybe though. I mean, it could just be a visual bug. Maybe they could select a champion, but never mind. We are going to have a remake. Probably not Xin is what they wanted. Although we have seen some Xin Zhao.
Yeah, Xin Zhao has been played by both Team Immunity, the Brazilian team Kaboom, and CJ Entis Blaze, actually. The team that's already in the finals has been playing that Xin Zhao. So it is a viable jungle choice. A lot of aggression from the jungle, a lot of junglers removed from the pool. But let's wait and see what actually is the champion selected.
Yeah, well, I'll take a quick break, I guess. They're going to restart this game because Loveland, for whatever reason, couldn't get back in the game. But hopefully, very shortly, we'll have Game 3 come in. Or up, never mind. Game 3 is here already. Going to be the same bands once again. So we should have identical drafts to what we've already seen. And I assume OMG will probably get their second and third picks to change if they want.
Interestingly, they've changed the draft order here. That shouldn't change the champions picked, of course. But Loveland was the 3rd pick on the OMG side. Now is bottom of the pack. So we'll wait and see the final ban come through.
I mean, OMG just taking their time. I think maybe making sure that everything's okay. Random ban, why not? I mean, they know what the champions are banned here, so not too worried that Akali's randomly in there. Cassidy going to go in there again. World Elite sticking to all 3 of their bans, actually, that they had in the last time around. There's Shyvana. Should go ahead and see Lee Sin and Orianna here. And then we're going to go back again and see what OMG want to pick up. Somebody's like, where's Orianna? I don't play this champion. I'm not sure how to find it.
So waiting for the locks to come through here. I mean, the jungle choice will be super interesting from the OMG side of things here.
Yeah, I mean, Lee Sin, I think that's in the same way that Renekton was banned there by OMG to kind of force and pick Shyvana away to kind of try and limit some of his options. It feels like Elise was banned there so they could probably get Lee Sin and then do the same thing to Loveland.
Absolutely. They picked 2 very strong champions. Also 2 champions that there isn't a clear answer available from the OMG side here. Orianna without Gragas available forces some interesting matchups there. Lee Sin without Elise available also suggests, at least on paper, that the jungle pressure advantage will be coming out of the World Elite side. So I think it's been some excellent drafting, but we're just waiting for it to finally flesh out.
Yeah, jungling was a big deal in that game too as well. I mean, Loveland's Nunu absolutely fine. Nunu a fine pick in different situations, but you're just not really a high-impact ganker. You're definitely utility and a team fight sort of support champion. So we are going to go once more here. I'm sure the players want to get into the game just as much as you all at home, and we do as well. But we are going to have Shyvana once again here. We'll do the dance. Lee Sin and Orianna going to be in here, and now we'll see what OMG want to pick up. Again, I believe they have the option of changing both second and third pick. And there we go. Could be Annie. Annie locked in.
So Annie's the selection here. Waiting on the third selection coming out of Name this time.
And I think last time they went for Lucian. Yeah, so they're going to pick that one up here.
So it'll be interesting to see what Wei Xiao chooses. You have to think it'll be the Ezreal, even if it isn't the ideal 2v2 lane choice here. Wei Xiao's Ezreal has definitely been one he's shown his most power this tournament. Still a viable choice, still a decent champion in every situation. There's the Wei Xiao Ezreal.
Ezreal's also 2-0 against Lucian in this series. The team that has played Ezreal has won against Lucian both times here so far. So Waterley got to be happy with this pickup. And as you said, an absolute comfort champion for Wei Xiao. So
some support choices. Now, picking Lulu here, I mean, I was going to suggest picking Lulu to steal it away, but of course, Annie's already been selected by OMG, so Lulu isn't going to be the pick here. Yep, they're sticking with the Ezreal and Thresh combination here. A lot of pressure that can come out of this. Oh, the last second
wow. Change. And that is a bold statement from Waterley, especially against Lucian.
We haven't seen the Wei Xiao vein this tournament so far here. Of course, we're still on patch 3.13, so the condemn change has not gone through. You are still able to get the condemn auto attack in and win those trades just slightly more aggressively. And speaking of not being seen for a while, this would be a very interesting choice from OMG.
I mean, Loveland, known for his pressure, known for release, known for Lee Sin. Lee Sin picked here, at least banned out. You know what else Loveland's known for? It's Jungle Yorick.
And Jungle Yorick, if it is locked in, there's a lot to discuss about that pick. It's something that is not seen outside of China. It's a Loveland special. It's locked in here. And cool picking Zed into Orianna is super interesting here. Of course, we've seen many, many times, especially in the Korean scene, how strong Orianna is in that matchup. Starting with the shield at level 1, just winning lane with auto attacks there. It is a lane that is very, very strong from an Orianna perspective. The final pick here. Now, they already have a jungler selected, so I think they're just having a bit of fun with the Rammus here. But if it's locked in, I'm ready to eat my words.
Oh, Rengar here maybe being considered as well. Remember, most of Salmo's champions are banned out here, so they are going to go for Rengar. And again, we saw this matchup last time. Did not work out for Gogoing.
But let's think back. One of the most famous Rengars of all time, funnily enough, was Xiaomei. Back when Rengar was super powered, Xiaomei loved to run the Sunfire Cape Spirit Visage, split pushing Rengar, and just becoming a tanky beast. He must know this matchup, having played so much Shyvana this tournament, and be confident enough in it. But the Jungle Yorick, that is the real interesting gauntlet that's been thrown out by OMG.
I mean, we saw it in Game 1. I mean, both these games, in fact, have been really been led by jungle pressure in different ways. I mean, Loveland was absolutely on top of it in Game 1, just being so aggressive on, I believe, Elise was the jungler he ended up with. Now, Game 2, we see Loveland in more of a support jungler, couldn't quite get it done, and now we have a really polarizing matchup here. It's Lee Sin, one of the most aggressive junglers, versus Yorick, who is very, very passive.
And I think Yorick jungle is a bit misunderstood as a jungler in that he doesn't apply much lane pressure. He isn't able to go into lanes and get strong ganks off, but Yorick in a little skirmish against Lee Sin, when he's able to put down those ghouls, the damage reduction, the bonus damage from that passive there, he skirmishes enemy junglers super, super strong. And one of Loveland's core tenets as a jungler is to invade and control enemy buffs. When you see a Yorick around your buff, you have to evacuate, just because winning a damage taker against a Yorick is very, very difficult.
Yeah, and Yorick's just, I mean, we've seen it time and time again when Loveland first brought it out in the LPL. He just loves to go in and pressure the enemy jungler. And the other great thing is that you can move in and really pressure and babysit lanes very well. And given that World Elite most likely are going to be looking for a 2v1 really hard here with the Vayne here, Yorick's actually really good at pressuring, either babysitting in your 2v2, moving down to your 1v2 lane, or pressuring in a 3v1 siege.
But here we are. It is the third game here. Everything is along the line, Pacers time. We know for sure there will be a Chinese team being ready to face CJ Enterspace in the final. Will it be OMG? Will it be World Elite? We're going to find out now.
I mean, how much is that a thing in this as well? The winner of this gets to go take on Blaze, and no matter who we get, it's going to be an absolutely fantastic final. But both these teams really want to win here, represent China, of course. And it's been a fantastic series so far here. Didn't expect it, honestly, to be tied up at 1-1 here, but here we are at Game 3 in OMG. We're going to have the first really strong level 1 invade here for the first time in this series.
I love the Jungle Yorick. He gets to start Doran Blade here. Now, there is a Doran Blade start on Lee Sin, but you think Loveland's going to be higher health.
Xiaomei better get out of there. He's forced to move out of the way, and he flashes forward. He flashes as well. Gets stunned towards the end of it. Now, Clear moving up as well. He's actually getting very aggressive there, just trying to block, it seems like. Maybe get in the way. Forced to flash himself now, as Xiaomei with the ball on top of him. Maybe going to get out here. Ignite, they're moving down. there. Raises Shuriken from Zed. Damage coming in. Going's going to flash forward. The Oriana Protector just enough. Lightbringer not quite there. The Shuriken dodged out. Now Cool very much in trouble. Glenn snipes him with a Q. And beautiful turnaround there for first blood for World Elite.
The fact that the ball was reapplied there, the extra stats, the extra Alma and Magic Resist actually allowed Xiaomei to live there. And that is an amazing turn of events right here. First blood comes down for Lee Sin.
And that's a fantastic person to give first blood to here as well. You know, a lot of people think the jungler, oh, I don't want to give him kills because he doesn't really snowball that well. And that's true. Junglers don't snowball particularly well. But if they get early game gold, it's terrifying.
So we'll watch the replay here. The flash came up for Xiaomei. I thought it was too early because he just flashed the flash and he's stunned. Xiaomei's taking so much damage. The first shield comes through here. Clearlove's trying to buy as much time as possible. Has to back out, so Xiaomei is going away. Still has the bonus armor and magic resist. The ignite is ticking so low. He flashes away the second shield. The dose so low. Missing there. The exhaust comes through from Fizziv. That was clinical play on the exhaust. And the first blood comes down for Lee Sin.
And World Elite, we've seen it time and time again. They're strongest. They're at their strongest when they're working together as a team. And they used everybody there to make sure that poor Xiaomei did not die. So a ton of summoners burned here at level 1. First blood going off to Lee Sin. It's going to give him an early machete. Going to make his potential first gank come even faster.
So you might think that the kill being on Lee Sin here is a negative thing from a World Elite perspective. But one thing we were discussing is just how strong a skirmisher Jungle Yorick is. He can start Doran Blade, which is what Lee Sin also started, and he sustains very high health in the jungle. On the minimap here, we do see some commotion coming in. It could be a late invade onto the blue side by Vayne and Thresh with Lee Sin.
This is a really strong late invade here from World Elite. Recognizing that Loveland not going to be able to defend this time around. They'll steal away the blue, actually goes off to Clearlove. And Clearlove's going to be able to run off to his own red, clear it very quickly with Hunter's Machete as he smites coming off cooldown. And pressure abounds now for Lee Sin.
Great map movement from World Elite there to recognize what happened in level 1. They had their flashes, they had their summoner spells available there. So much easier to be aggressive. Of course, having 2 members in the top lane gives you that extra control at level 1 and 2 of the enemy blue buff here. So that buff is picked up here. But coming back to Lee Sin here, the fact that he's able to buy some potions to complement the Doran start just means that although Jungle Yorik's so sustained in the jungle, it's usually a situation where if you start Doran Blade against a Jungle Yorick, you're 200 to 300 health below, and you lose that skirmish. But with the extra health pots, he's actually able to skirmish against Yorick, and that decreases a lot of the effectiveness of Yorick in the early game here.
We've seen a lot of 2v1s here in this series already. Lovely, they're taking a lot of damage actually. Forced to flash out of the way. There is a beautiful bowler. Ties him up there out under turret. Little too aggressive there for Loveland. You see up towards the top as well. It's 3v1 on both ends, Papa.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. They took a couple of turret hits so early. The back is stopped here, but of course a lot of damage coming onto the turret. Cool is struggling in the mid lane as you'd expect against Oriana, but has a very healthy amount of CS here. Only 2 CS behind, despite being a melee against ranged matchup.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think really sort of hurt OMG here in the early level 1 as the tower does go down up towards the top lane.
The mirror 3v3 pushes is in World Elite's advantage here. Not unexpected given that level 3 was already acquired on Lee Sin here. And things are definitely looking good if you're a World Elite fan.
Yeah, I mean, World Elite absolutely needed this lane swap here for Vayne. And I think OMG would have tried very, very hard to disrupt that and find the 2v2.
But after that level 1,
exactly.
The playbook went out the window, Pastry Time. So many flashes used for no reward whatsoever. In fact, a death coming down on their mid laner here. Things are looking a bit difficult here as they continue the push in the top lane.
I like this decision from World Elite as well. They're going to stick here in towards the turret, try and continue to do damage. But
there's
most
not much to be scared of from the jungle Pastry Time. This is a Yorick who didn't even get access to a blue buff here. He doesn't have that cooldown reduction. He isn't dueling the enemy jungler. The jungle Yorick, for once in a competitive game, has been very well held.
Yeah, and most importantly, this is going to continue to give Vayne farm very freely here. And Pogo going, not a whole lot he can do. Vayne very good
Loveland
against
is still level 2 Pastry Time.
He is. Wow. I thought he just hit 3, but it's struggle street right now as Nami does take out the turret down the bottom.
One of the ways that Riot balanced top lane Yorick was increasing his mana cost. His mana costs are very high, and he used the mana early in the early skirmish, didn't pick up a blue buff, and now until he finishes that Spirit Stone, clearing the jungle is not a trivial task whatsoever for Yorick.
Yep, so it looks like we may have a rotation here for OMG. Did get the outer turret, they wanted in towards the bottom, so probably looking to swap in towards the 2v2 now. You can see the CS pretty comfortable between the two. Lucian a little far ahead, actually, although it's very, very even between the two. Early buy here for Lucian, maybe going to make any 2v2 a little bit better, but I think World Elite maybe going to look to swap back.
Yeah, we see Vayne going back here. Not how much gold she has. I don't think she has enough for a Bilgewater here. Maybe with her complete gold, she can buy a Bilgewater. So waiting for the shot to come through. No Berserker Greaves. Just to pressure lane a bit more. Get a few more auto attacks onto turrets here. As we see no lane swap completed here. Shyvana, however, pushing very strong on the top lane.
That was I'm not quite sure what vision OMG had there, but that was a very, very aware play here. Actually looking for the swap. It looks like World Leader going to rotate for Dragon, though.
Yeah, Xiaomei, he's staying in bot lane here. Hasn't gone back to shop, even though Xiaomei should be going to answer that top lane that's been pushed in by going in the top. You're correct here. Looks like Dragon Control is going to come through here. The pink wards are available. The Dragon is going to come in under fire here. And the Machete and Sidestone completed on Lee Sin here. The amount of mobility Lee Sin has acted to now is massive.
Yeah, Shyvana cannot make it down in time either, so World Elite going to pick up a very early, very fast Dragon here. Berserker Greaves as well for a bit of extra Silverbolt's damage, and there it is. Just over 6.5 minutes, excuse me. World Elite pick up the Dragon.
And you hear the Cloud Roar. One of the important things is because they pushed so aggressively on that top lane here, Xiaomei was actually holding onto the wave, now trying to shove it, but Rengar, he's going back, he's freshly shot, he's going to enter lane with a Giant Spell, and that minion wave will be largely available. No, it's actually Vayne who goes to meet it here. A massive minion wave, and Vayne sticking her lips.
I actually love the fact that World Elite are really sticking to their 2v1 for an extended period of time. I think Salmei is going to do a reasonable job pushing away. Clearlove can also come down to the bottom and maybe try and get some stuff done here as Fizzer probably forced to flash here. Is indeed going though. Going to follow flash there. Good flay back in there as well. But now Wei Zhao's going to join in potentially, and a good amount of damage done there. But Fizzer used a couple summoners, gets away safely.
Crucially did not incur a death whatsoever there. I do agree with your assessment here, just because from what we saw of the Rengar versus Shyvana matchup, it's really that Spirit Visage pickup or that first big item pickup that allows him to be relevant in that lane. In the early levels, he really does struggle having the long cooldowns on the Raw ability here. He's got the Giant Spell, so you think he's working towards a Sunfire Cape most likely here. So the cooldown reduction not going to be available so early. But the result of all of this is that Vayne gets to continue her free farm.
And that's exactly what World Elite won here. The phrase we always use with Vayne is you need to go even or better. And right now it's looking pretty much even here, although Lucian got a pretty healthy CS lead after everyone rotated from World Elite down to do that first Dragon. Global Gold, of course, going to look good here as well. I could see World Elite about 1,500 gold ahead.
Absolutely, and the more farm that Vayne can get without being harassed, the better the late game looks for World Elite here. Now it looks like OMG will be able to claim the second blue buff here after the first one was stolen away. It goes to Cool here. Loveland is kind of just having to deal with his jungle as much as possible here. He still doesn't even have a Spirit Stone completed. Probably going to go back to complete it now. That will help him sustain in the jungle, but this has been a very, very suboptimal game for Loveland.
Yeah, I would have considered giving the blue to Loveland there if I were OMG as well, but Cool wants it instead. I mean, he's kind of pressured here by Orianna as well. Wants to maybe start roaming, helping some of the other lanes, and needs blue in order to wave clear efficiently. Messiah going to return now as well, but interestingly enough, is actually going for the Seeker's Arm Guard here.
And it looks like Loveland's actually skipped the Spirit Stone, just gone for the tier here, as much mana sustain as possible. I mean, combat stats are not so important on Jungle Yorick. In fact, Jungle Yorick has one of the lowest gold ceilings in the game just because he gets so tanky and does more damage from his passive.
Yep, so Fizzer clearing out wards as well. Clearlove actually wants to get involved. It seems like could be a 3v2 dive here as Loveland rotates up towards the top to defend here. I mean, I like what they're doing here. Wei Zhao's very happy here against 1v1 against Shyvana. So Fizzer and Clearlove are free to maybe do some diving here. And Fizzer going to go in. Oh, Orianna ult. Not where it wanted to be. Oh, but they can still go in here. Cool. In quite a bit of trouble. Everyone from World Elite's diving in there. And that's Zed, Flash, and Living Shadow burnt in order to get him out of the way. So despite the Ori ult there, plenty of pressure coming through.
And the Orianna ult completely whiffing. They're stopping the successful kill from coming out there. Cool has to back. They do pick up the mid turret, the OMG turret that's famously known for, but Gogoing's going in.
Yeah, he is diving there. Selmae in a lot of trouble. Stun comes out in there as well. Cool's going to clean him up. I mean, World Elite, to their credit, didn't get the kill, but did get the turret, but a little sloppy there for that dive.
Yeah, the flash tip is coming in from Jessica there. Secures the kill. You mentioned the Seeker's Arm Guard pickup from Orianna here. It does delay that mana regen. It does delay that Athene's Unholy Grail. Such an important item on Orianna here. If you skip over the cooldown reduction and maximum mana, it makes teamfighting so much harder because you function as a burst caster almost, not having the mana to sustain consistent damage. And Orianna's ratios are not there for burst. They're there for consistent damage over a team fight.
Yeah, we often see the Athenes just being picked up by Orianna despite the fact that Zed's such a strong AD champion. Simply because Command Protect can just really keep her safe.
I guess if this was more of an even game from the early set, you might have seen that just so that it would feel that Orianna had to be competitive in that mid lane, but it seems like a defensive choice from Messiah. understanding the situation where they are on top in terms of map vision early in the game. Having that Zhonya's allows him to farm a bit more aggressively because he doesn't have to worry about the death mark coming in from nowhere.
It's also very cheap, and they're up on global gold by quite a little bit here, actually, so he could probably afford it. And
it doesn't look like he'll be rushing down the Zhonya's here, as we see the Fiendish Codex is probably still going to be the Athene's Unholy Grail, but maybe you're correct here. The extra global gold mean some cost-effective armor, just making it that much more difficult for Zed to burst him down.
So we're going to see some very key item timing coming out here as well. The AD carries are really racing to some key items here. You can see Wei Zhao constantly rotating here, does not want to fight Lucian at all, and it's going to be interesting to see what finishes first, either Trinity Force for Lucian or the Blade of the Ruined King for Vayne.
And against aggressive laners, Vayne has always struggled. I mean, famously, Draven versus Vayne was always a horrible, horrible matchup for Vayne. It's much the same case with Lucian, but as you get more levels in that tumble, you are able to tumble out of Lucian's Q, and there are some potential Duke abilities coming out here. Now, OMG, they're standing in a ward, so even though they've made some good map rotations here, probably not going to pay off.
Dragon up in just over a minute now as well, so we could see a big fight here contesting that Dragon here. Wordley picked up very early Dragon at 6.5 minutes, and OMG, I think, must contest here, or the snowball will really start to get rolling here in this game. Everyone from OMG backing off to the ward, about to time out there. Clearly they're going to get spotted off by Cool, but he'll be okay. And everyone's just going to rotate back through the jungle here.
So the laning phase has been quite long here, despite the early turrets coming down from Water Lead, and they're happy with that. I mean, Vayne at the end of the day is CXing. We'll definitely have a Blade of the Ruined King before team fights start here. And when we look at the map vision here, very even between both teams. The Oracle sweeping that we saw so aggressively last game hasn't come out just yet.
Yeah, I mean, Water Lead ideally would like the Blade of the Ruined King finish by the time they want to go for this second Dragon fight. So it'll be interesting to see if Water Lead can really tightly time this here. Although actually it looks like they're going to go for a gank first here. Lovelin off around the side, ready to defend. But a lot of people rotating through. In fact, all 5 members of Water Lead are down here. Shyvana trapped up towards the top. This could be absolute massacre. Oh, there's Salme. He's going to dive in on Taname, looking for it. Doing a good chunk of damage. Orianna now going to ride him out. And oh, flashes out from under the Tibbers. That was quite good.
Very nice flash on the Tibbers that they were caught in a bit in no man's land behind a more than half health turret right here. They've made the rotation. Shyvana's in the top lane. It looks like they'll be swapping top turret for Dragon, but Xiaomei is backing away in a ward. No, sticks around. That is going to be top turret falling.
Oh, interestingly enough, Clearlove actually... Oh no, we did end up going over. Waited until the last second with a Dragon Q there to go in. And Waterloo pretty happy here, 5v4, able to defend here. Oh, Zed gets the Dragon. That's not good news. But Wei Zhao's going in. Loveland pulled through there. That's going to give Vayne a kill.
But that is a free Dragon with only 4 members and an under-leveled Smite available. They're just stolen away by the Zed. Q there is the Dragon. And that's a big loss for Waterloo, who had such a firm grip on the early game.
Going getting a tower here as well is going to make the gold very, very even. 1,000 now, or just over between the two. And Waterloo, they had a comfortable 2,000 to 3,000 gold lead at one point, but this game now brought back very, very even.
Yeah, just a slight mechanical error on a champion who has both an execute ability and whose Smite was a higher level there. That should have been a World Elite's Dragon.
It should have. Now Asame is going to rotate up towards the top. Looks like we're finally going to normalize these lanes a little bit here. Wei Zhao still not quite there with the Blade of the Ruined King, but Zeal on the way there for Name. He's a few thousand, 1,000 gold or so off Trinity Force as well. So AD carry timing's a little late here.
So I was trying to think about the Yorick ult synergy here, just because Yorick himself is not going to have many combat stats. You know, he's slowly going to be working on a Spirit of the Ancient Golem just for a bit of extra cooldown reduction here. The synergy between Shyvana and Yorick is going to be something that's going to be a sight to behold, just because with that massive amount of base magic damage on the burnout there, it's going to be burning for so much damage in team fights. Could really, really wreck team fights there. So I do like that synergy.
Oh, cool. Taking quite a bit there from Asai. The damage moving in, forced a Living Shadow out. Good slow there from Cool as well. Will protect himself.
Of course, there's no Ignite available there. In fact, used Barrier in that trade there, Messiah, maybe mistakenly thinking he had Ignite available, but Cool will live to fight another day.
Yeah, Messiah did have Barrier, as you noted, which is great against Zed especially, but kill potential there in the 1v1, not quite there. Blade of the Ruined King, though, is finished up now for Vayne, and unfortunately for Water Elite, the Dragon's already down.
So the first big purchases have come through here. Interesting to see. The Marilla Nomicon is the first pickup from Orianna here. Doesn't give her the same magic regeneration, mana regeneration, but does give her the 20% CDR she so desperately craves here. So it's almost a compromise between the two abilities here, but she will now be more blue required than before.
Yeah, and that could be a little bit of trouble here. Yorick, of course, his sustain's pretty good, so having it against, having Marilla Nomicon, that effect there against Yorick isn't too bad, but you're right. I think it's kind of, Messiah's just kind of built his own Athenes, because he really, really wanted that Seeker's Arm Guard.
Well, it's also a 40% CDR that's significantly earlier than if he had waited to finish the Athenes. Obviously, a much more expensive item is Athenes compared to Marilla Nomicon.
Yeah, seems like Salmai up towards the top. Actually winning in CS here by about 10 to 15, so it's pretty good, but I don't know quite how this lane is going here. We can see the trades back and forth. It looks like they're going kind of in that point as that we saw Salmayon in Shyvana last time, in that, you know, Rengar great early, but towards the middle he really just needs to get his farm going, and Shyvana can bully him around quite well there.
And Xiaomei's actually built for team fights here. He's kind of split the difference between Spirit Visage and Sunfire Cape, having both the Giant's Belt, the Negatron Cloak, and the Chain Vest coming out here. He wants all the possible stats for a team fight to be that ball carrier for his team. It will hurt his trades up top. It will hurt his wave clear. So unfortunately, the waves will be pushed towards the World Elite top turret for much of this game. But once he finishes those big items, maybe after the next big team fight, he should be just that full power Rengar that we know and love.
And World Elite, I think the next thing they want really badly is this outer turret down towards the bottom. Turrets currently even here at 2-2 with World Elite only up a kill. And the gold again, despite a lot of global objectives going down here, I believe they split the Dragon Snout as well. 1,000 gold still up here for World Elite, not too much though, and not a whole lot but farming going on, I have to say.
Well, World Elite have, unfortunately, a lot of their early pressure was undone by that Dragon Steel here. They're still ahead. They still have a Vayne who's free farming and isn't being harassed out of lane by Lucian here. They both have one big 80 carry item here, so both of them are very confident so far going into the late game. It's just a question of whether Vayne can live dodging Cool's ultimate, the Death Mark, dodging the Flash Tibbers, dodging Shyvana, and we saw last game Shyvana hunts 80 carries and there aren't many answers to them. Of course, because Vayne synergizes so well with Blade of the Ruin King, having that speed sap against the speedy Shyvana will be very useful, so that active on the Blade of the Ruin King could be very, very useful here. But there's still a lot of damage, and then the potential for a Yorick ultimate on top of one of those divers. It's going to be hard to see how Wei Xiao can stay alive in teamfights, maybe until later in the game when he has 2 to 3 big 80 carry items.
Well, the next key fight's going to be around that Dragon, which is just in about 1 minute and 40 now, so we'll see exactly what these teams decide to do here. Blade of the Ruin King finished up on Zed now as well, so that's going to be a nice important one here. Oracle's also picked up there for Loveland, so I think you can tell OMG really want to try and make sure they secure this next important objective.
Well, the one definite advantage they have is the pressure they're putting up on top lane here. The minions are consistently pushing into the top inner turret here, and Rengar just finished Sunfire Cape, so finally has similar wave clear, not quite to the wave clear level of Shyvana, but similar wave clear to start to control that top lane. But you're right, the next Dragon, we've got the timer here, 1 minute 12. So in 1 minute 12, we'll see a titanic fight around the Dragon.
I love this Oracle's timing here as well from Clearlove. It's so important to get yourself vision around Dragon, and both teams know just how important this next team fight is. I mean,
that's the second Oracle actually bought by Clearlove here, obviously valuing clearing that vision as much as possible here. He's gone for some cost-effective stats with the Kindle Gem here, but definitely not looking to get an Aegis anytime soon. The Aegis will be significantly delayed, but of course not too much magic damage coming out of the side of OMG.
It's one of the nice things about junglers. He had a little bit of snowball going with the first blood and has got an assist in there as well. Had a bit of extra gold, decided to be quite aggressive with it there on the Oracles here, but here we are. Dragon is up in 35 seconds, and OMG, I mean, there's a lot of vision that's going to be fought around this Dragon pit.
I think crucially, one of the unfortunate points here from an OMG side is that the Aegis is looking a long way away, and that's against an Orianna here who's doing quite well for herself, has a very large chunk of AP relatively for this early in the game, just because we're used to the Athene's Unholy Grail Orianna, who doesn't have that same AP values that the Morellonomicon has picked up here. I mean, it's going to be a bit of... The next Shockwave could be a massive factor in a fight, whereas Yorick, unfortunately, just isn't able to provide that magic resist aura to his team. And look, Vayne just picked up the Zeal. She's starting to really get towards that hyperscaling. Of course, critical strike and attack speed scale so well with each other and starting to get really strong as Wei Xiao and Vayne.
All right, well, all 5 members from both teams here are down towards the Dragon pit. It is going to get very hectic here very soon. In fact, they've started a Dragon finish there. Lovely getting taken there. Oh, so much damage from the Orianna roll. He's going to dive in there. The culling comes through as well. Clearlove, though, very dead there as Name does so much damage in there. Now Wei Xiao getting taken out as well. Just so many kills being used there for OMG. I mean, Loveland is actually dead, so it was a 4-for-1 trade, but Salme are the only one to live there. That was an expensive Dragon for World Elite.
Given how the game has gone, you might be surprised to see that result, but they just split their attention so well. Name was way over to the side, using the culling at max range to do damage. They're actually looking to pick up Baron here. They still have Tibbers who can take the first few Baron shots here, and suddenly this game is changed completely on its head.
OMG going to do what World Elite did to them in the last game here. Going to attempt a Baron. Clearlove's back up, so he's going to rush towards the pit. They don't have vision, though. So I don't know if they think this is what OMG are going to do. I mean, World Elite, again, they did it to their opponents in the last game here. OMG taking a ton of damage here from Baron. Jessica probably going to have to get out of this one, but World Elite nowhere in sight here. It's going to be an uncontested Baron for OMG.
Xiaomei does get the answer.
Oh, wow, he's in there.
But it might be a 1-for-1 here, which isn't ideal.
Lantern's out.
The content available right there, but still, it's a bit of a hollow victory there for World Elite. They grouped at Dragon and were completely womboed down there. Yorick was still able to provide CC, but that culling from an opposite angle that Nami got so much free hit damage in that World Elite could do nothing. All of their members felt low, and the cleanup crew came through.
And OMG, such a decisive Baron there. Very, very nice play. As WCG just moving down, they're trying to farm up a little more. World Elite don't have this bottom tower now either, so they're actually cutting themselves up off a little bit of map vision here. Probably forced a total now that OMG do have the Baron buff, so it's a little awkward for World Elite, to say the least.
Absolutely. We see 3 members of OMG coming down bottom, but also 2 members to relieve pressure for WCG here. We'll get the turret, we'll get out, so that's a nice bit of global gold coming out for World Elite. But you're right, this is definitely the pause button if you're World Elite here. Look at the gold here, 100 gold between the 2 teams, so all even here, but of course the stats provided by the Baron buff mean that fighting OMG right now, not an option that World Elite are looking to take.
The Baron buff itself is worth a ton of effective gold in stats here, but World Elite are in a much better position than OMG were in Game 2 when World Elite took a very early Baron there as well. So if they can just defend their towers, losing mid-tower is probably going to happen here, but if they don't lose anything else, and especially if they can defend mid-tower, that'll look really good. He was up, Fizzer Fuxigal. Clearly they're looking to come in as well, they're maybe going to try and get the damage done, but WCG even popping his ultimate, Loveland taking so much damage actually, and that's just the product of him being far behind.
And if they disengage here, again, that just stops OMG from having the same pressure on turrets here. It keeps their structures up, it keeps the global goal snowball from starting at the 21-minute mark here, and buying time while that Baron buff ticks down. Very important kill there for World Elite.
Yeah, World Elite, again, OMG a very decisive Baron, but it's weird to say this, but that almost felt like a catch-up Baron.
It was definitely a catch-up in terms of map pressure here, but look at this, regardless of losing 1 member here, we see that OMG are pushing into it.
They're looking to go aggressive, they want to go the ultimate. Cool gets out with Living Shadow though. I mean, nice attempt there from World Elite, but it's very, very hard to pin down as that is Fizzer's going to take a ton of culling.
But that's okay, the turret staying healthy, the turret staying up is more important than picking up 1 single kill right there. Messiah has to back away, doesn't have blue buff available here completely, and that's where you see the weakness of this build right here. He will pick up the Zhonya's with his next back, but only the 12 mana regeneration completed. No, he actually goes for a blasting one here, working towards a death cap, so looking more for the damage here, but the Phantom Dancer pick up on Vayne, that is another important thing. But again, there's so much dive from OMG onto WCG. I don't know how he's going to kill this Sunfire Cape, Spirit Visage, Doran, Shield, Shyvana. Yeah,
Shyvana feels like a very big problem here now for World Elite. And again, this is very similar to what WE did. Oh, bit of a skirmish here. Good double stun coming through. Name looking to go in onto Lucian, but does back away there.
If you want anyone face-checking bushes at this point, it is clear love on Renekton. Very, very tanky here, but they are pushing up into top tower here. Fizz goes for a death sentence, just for a bit speculative play, but backs away.
Good push down towards the mid as well. OMG really manipulating those creeps well. That's going to do a good chunk of damage through here. And remember, World Elite still very much trying to turtle off this Baron. But OMG just looking for any opening they can here. And
the Baron buff does not have much life for this world here. It's going to fall very, very shortly here. But it's very tense around this inner turret.
Ultimate's coming back up as well. Loveland actually grabbed him once again, taking some damage here, but Nesgo going straight towards the back. A great Orianna ultimate picks up so many members, and WCG kiting as best he can. Jessica very low there, as that's actually a double kill coming up from Messiah. Salme very low in there as well. Name's in trouble. He's going to go down there. They're going to pick up a double there for Wei as well. Now going, has to run very far away. Clearlove's going to tag him with a resonating strike. WCG's going to try and chase him. This is a very scary Shyvana. They can't do anything here.
Chasing a Shyvana during Dragon Form is never a smart move there. Almost dying to the burnout was WCG. That base damage of that build is so high, but a fantastic fight there. WCG was actually fighting at the front of the fight, largely ignored due to all the fracas around that turret dive there. He lives to fight another game. He's 5-1-1 now. That last Whisper, if he can get it before the next massive team fight, crucially before the next Baron, he actually will be able to deal with Shyvana, as she does not have the Randuin's completed yet.
Yeah, and World Elite, they're still behind in gold after that. OMG have done a really good job of pressuring up here, but this is a very, very tense game here between these two teams, and a very fitting way to kick off our third and final game here between these two. Rabadon's Death Cap now finally completed for Messiah. He is going assassin mode almost.
It's such a double-edged sword, though, having so much gold on WCG here. He'll finish the last Whisper soon, but as Vayne, a short-range carrier, champion who's in 550 range with her auto attacks, or cancelling her auto attacks to move closer to the enemy against Zed diving in. Yorick, of course, using his ultimate and also being in melee range there. So many champions who can get on top of Vayne and kill her. And if she dies in the crossfire, World Elite will find it super difficult to win a fight.
Well, World Elite, a team of star players for sure here, as Loveland's going to get himself bowled up. But the question is, World Elite have really always played to not quite, you know, 4 protects 1, but they are very Weizhao-centric a lot of the time, especially on his Vayne and
I
Papa.
actually love these pickups here. He's gone for the pickaxe here, of course, working towards the Last Whisper, but a Ruby Crystal there just to give him that much more survivability.
Dragon fight again here. World Elite really botched the last one. They're going to have to see if they can get it done a little better here. Salme getting chased down here, being pressured out by Going. And Johanna's going to get back into this fight very, very quickly with Burnout. But World Elite intelligently using their jungle here, just trying to set up for this Dragon.
Now, this is the point where Messiah has made a smart adaptation. There is no Aegis completed, and Orianna's Shockwave will do so much damage.
Yeah, needs to pick off the squishies. A good spread here from OMG. Play back in there. He's trying to steal it. He gets it. Good move there from Clearlove. Now Salme running the ball. He's on top of Name. Great stun though for Annie moving in as the death mark comes through. But Weizhao gets himself out as the culling does pop in there as well. Going now, diving very deep in. Fizzev trying to defend against everybody here to push him out, but he can't quite get it done. And the damage still running in there. Zed kills Weizhao, and that is terrible news for World Elite. OMG moving in now, very aggressive. No other kills, that seems like, though. Dragon picked up by Lee Sin. 1-0 there as Vayne goes down. A good trade for World Elite if they don't take any more damage here.
So many members of OMG getting low there, but very smart play from Name. Stayed healthy, was able to activate the culling, was able to fight from range there, and Weizhao, unfortunately, as is the reality of this team comp, was kind of lost in the middle there. There was nothing his team could do to peel for him there, and he died, and that cannot be repeated in a team fight. They won't lose the maximum for this. They may lose their inner turret, but not an inhibitor turret here, and World Elite, Weizhao will be spawning soon. A bit of a reprieve, but they took the Dragon down. In terms of global gold, they win that trade, but they cannot afford for a repeat of Weizhao being assassinated.
World Elite amazingly able to defend both the mid and bottom inner turrets here, so the tier 2s will stay up here. I have to say, Name, I love his choice of Blade of the Ruin King here. It worked so hard against Salme's Rengar.
And we see less than a minute is left here for the Baron, which will be the next point of contention. No Last Whisper will be completed by Weizhao here. Still looking for gold here. He, of course, has that Ruby Crystal, which helped him to some extent in that team fight, but not enough, clearly. It'll be interesting to see what defensive item he actually chooses. Maybe he'll go for the Guardian Angel here. Maybe he'll actually build a Banshee Veil, despite the lack of magic damage here. I mean, the Quicksilver Sash is probably the most obvious choice here just to deal with Cool's ultimate, but the magic resist it gives. There's no ideal pickup in terms of tanky items for the Vayne.
Weizhao desperate looking for farm now on the Vayne. As you said, Papa really needs to complete up that Last Whisper. He wants to be looking any sort of competitive here. Name picks up red buff for himself. So everyone really prepping for this next Baron. It's going to be so crucial. I mean, whoever wins this next Baron fight arguably will win the game.
We see no Aegis on either side here. It's still a very important pickup for Loveland here, but unfortunately a long way away from Aegis here. Probably has to ignore, and that's why I really liked Orianna going for damage here. Usually you'd expect some sort of mana regen coming through, but the void stuff can be delayed quite significantly here. And picking up the Zhonya now is just fine because a big chunk of AP will do just as much damage as finishing that void stuff.
I love this build here from Cool as well, by the way.
Situation.
Yeah, he knows what his job is. His job is kill Weizhao.
It's a very standard Zed build, but you're correct. It's Operation Kill Weizhao if you're an OMG fan.
Uh-oh. Bit of a standoff here. Oh, they're going to find Going, but he's very tanky. No Last Whisper here for Vayne either. Just doing a decent chunk of damage there to Shyvana, but Lovin will clear out what he can.
Such a tense game right now because the next team fight means so much. Less than 1,000 gold between the two teams here. World Elite, they've been asserted. They're pushing through the middle here. A lot of wave play available, but they know that the Living Shadow is now down for Cool.
Love this push as well. Gogong's actually recalling here, interesting enough. Looks like OMG might give up a tier 2 here, and they will. It's a good little chunk of gold for World Elite. The gold almost dead even between the two teams.
The power of Rengar in a push based time. It's not just the AD Rengars that train down turrets. If you have a bit of cooldown reduction, hell, if you're even tanky, you're able to train it down. You do see the Bone Tooth Necklace. This is something that we saw last game also coming out of Going here. You get a lot of stats per level, and then, of course, if the team fights go longer, you get those assists. Some very cool effects coming out of that Bone Tooth Necklace. So
tense around this Baron repeat as well. One wrong move is going to cause all sorts of problems here. You can see both teams checking brush. Salme's going to dive in. They want to try and get some work done, but not quite on top of anybody relevant. Cool around the side. They're looking to flank. That's a lot of damage there, but Going still so tanky. The culling moves in there. Salme very low, actually getting death marked, it seems like. No, maybe not. Vizef now forced to run away. A great Orianna ultimate there. Picks up a kill on the Zed, but the damage still getting done here. 2 for 1 though as World Leader forced to retreat. Cool as well. His Ghost is absolutely chasing out everybody despite the death. Now Weizhao's forced to fight 1v3, but nothing he can do about it at all. Tumbles out of the way, but Salme will take him out. In fact, Name picks up the kill there. And that's going to be Baron again.
The effective tankiness that is offered by that Yorick ultimate is insane. That no one is dying in this fight, and if they do, they regenerate. They hunt Weizhao. He's not able to free hit. The team can't peel for them, and they're actually looking to do Baron here.
It's effectively a 2-man Baron, though. Sicker is so low. Tibbers in there for the tanking. That's really, really cute. I don't know how much longer he's alive for. This is going to be a tricky Baron, but here's the replay.
So we go back into the team fight here. Well, it's a very long team fight. Xiaomei had the ball applied to him late there, so they held on to the cooldown right here. The death sentence hit a minion. Naomei is free hitting towards the side, but watch track Wei Xiao here. He's out on the back. The death mark is actually used aggressively. Doesn't offer very much. The box is perfect, but look at this shot. It is massive. World Elite think it's go time here, but the Yorick ultimate was used here. So tanky are these men. Look at these health bars still alive. They chase down Xiaomei. Wei Xiao, he uses Blade of the Ruined King, but as Vayne, a single target AD carry, he cannot train down anyone. Going cleans up the fight, and OMG, they may have the answer to World Elite's card.
Just incredible positioning from OMG around the choke there. I mean, again, that was going to be a very important Baron fight there, and OMG come out well and truly on top. Now rocketing to about 2,500 gold ahead, and of course that Baron buff means so much in gold in there as well. Did manage to pick it up though. We can see just towards the left here, it looks like OMG might have a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, so a bit of breathing points here. Last Whisper's picked it up on Vayne, but look at the items completed on the OMG side. The full Assassination Triumvirate, the Blade of the Ruined King, the Black Cleaver, and the Last Whisper has been completed for a while now on Zed, looking very, very strong here. Naomei's added a Last Whisper to his arsenal as well. A lot of damage, and this front line, especially this Shyvana, 3-0-10. Shyvana has dominated this tournament. Spirit Visage, Sunfire Cape, Thorn Mail. She will just almost never die. And if she does, a Yorick ultimate to regenerate her. So tanky, so much consistent magic damage. Wrecking these fights is Shyvana.
So you talked about defensive items here for AD carries, and in particular it's going to be really important that Wei Xiao has an item that he likes here. What do you think he's going to go for, given that he needs to mainly shake off Zed, and Shyvana especially as well?
I mean, at this point, just because he's trading with base values here and that there's no real reason to itemize magic resist, crazy as it sounds, something like a Randuin's or a Warmog's might actually be the thing. Just sheer health here, because he's dying, because consistent damage is being put out on top of him in melee range for 20 seconds in a fight. He cannot kite that damage forever. Even a Frozen Mallet, maybe taking a page out of Double Lift's books, might be an interesting option here. There's no correct itemization in terms of a defensive choice here, just because there's trade-offs in every effect of this game.
What do you think of Quicksilver Slash against Deathmark in particular?
I mean, it does offer him that answer to the Deathmark. It is nice to take a bit of reduced damage from Shyvana, but it's only the Deathmark it really prevents him against. Like, so it's an interesting choice. It could be done, but as I'm trying to say, with the mix of damage and items and champions that have been picked up by OMG here, there's no zero-sum best choice. And
I think it's a little tricky here for World Elite, because as much as they do want to protect their Vayne, it's kind of tricky to peel Shyvana off. I mean, Shyvana in general just never ever stops running after you, but especially with the champions they have, doesn't feel like they quite have the peel here for Vayne.
And the advantage for Naomei here is that he doesn't have to worry about defensive options. They can just hold that Yorick ultimate if there's ever a threat of him falling and use it there. And that's a free Guardian Angel, effectively. Like, even though he does reduce damage in a team fight, is going to be a massive, massive thing. And so even though Yorick has been so bullied this game, he's died first in fights, he's walked in and died before fights happen, he had buff stolen away from him, just the power of that ultimate and a bit of cooldown reduction in mana is enough to Yorick to be very relevant in these fights.
Yeah, so it looks like we've got about 3,000 gold between the two teams now. OMG up after that Baron buff, and they'll have, effectively more gold as well with the Baron buff, giving them so many free stats. But this game's still very, very close between these two, but it's just a matter of World Elite now. I mean, whenever the enemy team has Baron buff, you really just have to look for damage control.
And just with so much grouping, we don't really see the value of the Rengar pick here. Rengar compared to Shyvana in teamfights is almost night and day. We haven't seen the picture-perfect initiations with the ball riding on top of the invisible Rengar and then just instantly killing someone like Naomei here, who is very susceptible to that, has no defensive stats whatsoever. We haven't seen that picture-perfect initiation. They've been a bit sloppy. The ball hasn't been in the right place. Even though the shockwaves that have come out have been very good, they haven't been initiating fights on their terms. They haven't been able to get a pick. They haven't been able to kill a priority member, and that's how the tanky DPS has been so effective in just running after Wei Xiao and zoning him out of the fight.
I mean, not surprisingly, there's so much riding on Messiah here in terms of teamfight control. He needs to be the one that helps Rengar initiate in and take out a key threat like Naomei, but he also needs to make sure his ball's in position enough to help peel for Wei Xiao once that initial threat is neutralized here.
But it becomes more and more difficult for Messiah now, because subsequent blue buffs after the one that he's currently riding will be much more difficult to obtain, just because the map movement advantages with OMG here. If they ward up that blue and control his blue buff, the 12 mana regeneration you get from Morellonomicon will not be substantial enough to sustain him in a team fight.
OMG going to look for Dragon now as well. World Elite I mean, I guess they're interested in contesting for it, but there's no real way for them to. Going to try and pick up as much farm as they can while they've got a little bit of time. But OMG here, they've got just over half of their Baron buff left now. Going to be looking to really try and take some more objectives out.
Gold lead has ballooned to 5,000 now. Not a massive lead, but a sizable one at this point. A 10% gold lead, you could say, looking at the overall gold values here. It looks like they'll lose their inner turret, trying to put up as much of a fight as possible. They want to wait till this Baron buff runs out, and then they just need that perfect engagement so they can pull off a priority member and peel for Wei Zhao.
Yeah, they really just need to buy as much time as possible here because, as we mentioned last game, and in general, Baron buff is just so hard to fight against because of all the stats it gives you. So Orderly will hang out here. Messiah's wave clear is going to be good while he has blue, but not quite sure how much time he has left on that. I can't imagine it's too much.
And the worrying thing is here that after Messiah, almost no ranged wave clear whatsoever on the Waterley side. Look at this. They have to give it up perhaps earlier if they have a different champion there. Messiah backs off, goes to refill his mana here. The waves are really starting to be controlled in OMG's favor here, and you worry if you're Waterley fan. How are they going to get back into this game, barring an amazing initiation wombo combo between Rengar and Orianna?
And Void stuff's up now for Messiah. He is really deep on just doing maximum damage here, it feels like. And he's definitely going to be hurting without that blue. I believe it just got stolen away as well, though I'm not quite sure if it was up. I guess given that
it could have been a blue buff error when it comes to the ring around Messiah. Unfortunately, spectator mode is susceptible to those sort of things here.
Does not have it now, so yes, I think it may be the case. And that is really going to hurt, as you mentioned.
But on the other side of the coin, a massive chunk of AP coming out from Messiah here. They need to get that wombo combo on a priority member. Obviously, even with those items, you're not going to be bursting down Shyvana at this point. You're not going to be bursting down Yorick. He actually has finished this Aegis, a substantial pickup in this game. But Lucian, he has no defensive stats yet. He's gone back, gone to buy a more BF sword here. He's going completely for damage, which makes a lot of sense, given that he has the Yorick on his team, given that he can get away with that. But Zed also has gone full damage. Potentially sniping one of those is Waterlead's best chance for a win team fight.
I think one of the nice things about Waterlead's comp is that in extended team fights, they absolutely reign supreme. So if they can continually kite Shyvana, potentially, or assassinate someone, and then kite the rest of the team.
But I mean, kiting Shyvana is almost a contradiction of terms at this point. You don't get Shyvana off you, even if you condemn her away, even if you use CC on her so fast as that champion.
I think they have enough, but we'll see here. I mean, I think it is going to have to start with an assassination, unfortunately. And that's kind of OMG's territory at this point.
Yeah, speaking of assassination, OMG, they're looking aggressively around the top turret here. They're just looking to manipulate waves here. We see that the wave is actually pushing very well for World Elite in the bottom lane, so that will buy them some time here. But Shyvana's going to go back up top, start to push that wave. And we have another tense standoff here, but the game definitely in OMG's favor right now.
Have to be so careful. There are so many wards in their side of the map right now. OMG are doing a really good job of warding up, and they can cover so many rotations here from World Elite. And if one person gets picked off, they're going to lose so much.
And what you'll notice is the large amount of wards coming out from OMG will be pink wards here, just to try and ping any path that Rengar tries to take with the ball riding on him for an initiation. It is that Rengar initiation that is World Elite's best chance to a one-team fight. And just putting out those pink wards, something that of course will be a relic of the past in Season 4, is the best strategy that OMG have to protect against that.
Baron buff has dropped off now as well, so World Elite can potentially look for a fight here, but OMG went from 3,000 gold to 5,000 gold in terms of lead there, so they did a good job there, got about 2,000 gold worth of Baron buff there, if you want to think about it that way. But items are going to be bought up here. This game is getting late now as we approach 36 minutes.
And you can really see OMG's school of thought in the item purchases here. You wouldn't be surprised to see, after the triple 80 items, the Blade, the Ruined King, the Black Cleaver, and the Last Whisper, to see Cool go for a Guardian Angel, just to give him a bit of defensive flair in a team fight. He's gone for the Bloodthirster here, just because they know if they just, one of them gets on top of Wei Zhao, whether it's Lucian, whether it's Zed, whether it's Shyvana, they'll be able to take him out, and this team comp from World Elite kind of falls apart. So his defensive option is just to be more offensive and try and kill Wei Zhao as fast as possible.
QSS is up though for Wei Zhao. He did manage to go for that one, so we'll be able to shake off at least the death mark, but there are lots of problems here.
Sure.
For Wei Zhao. And OMG are really looking for an opening here. Baron buff will be up in just under 2 minutes now. Dragon about the same here, but teams aren't really interested in dragging this point. Salmei going very deep there, but not quite the initiation there. What a Messiah gets dumped there by Cool, and now going over in on the top. Good death mark, good QSS up, but I think he's still death marked there as Wei Zhao's forced to kite as best he can, but still a clean kill there for OMG to start things off. This push is going to be massive.
Absolutely, and they have the Cool Ghost here, so they're able to tank out the turret. They're going to keep going.
Yeah, that's Lee Sin going down there as Nami picks up the kill. Now Salmei in trouble as Wei Zhao's trying to kite as best he can. He wants to kill Shyvana, but it's so hard. Going to go down here, looks like going very low there, takes the tower hit. Doesn't quite go go down. Naome's ripping through everybody as well. The triple kill comes out as well. A clean ace there for OMG and World Elite. Looks like they tried to defend as best they could, but I think this game is done.
And with those death timers, the game is done here. We are going to see OMG. They are going to be your representatives in the final. Surrender comes out. GG, well played, OMG.
World Elite, very well played there against their rivals, but OMG very happy, looking so strong throughout this tournament, arguably the strongest team and the favorite to win. And we're going to have one hell of a grand final here. CJ enters Blaze versus OMG.
Yeah, on the grand final, on the main stage. We saw how many fans there were here for this Battle of China. On the main stage, it is going to be electric pastry time. That's going to be later in the day, but for now, we're going to have to sign off.
We are indeed. So we are done here for the semi-finals now. The finals determined for WCG 2013 here, live from Kunshan City, China. My name is Pastry Time. I've, of course, been joined by Papa Smithy. We are Papa Time, and we're signing out now for League of Legends 2013.